Welcome to the June Clash of Clans monthly final. I'm Carbon Finn, joined here with some amazing fellow co-casters. Gonna be excited to bring you an amazing weekend of Clash of Clans. But first, Itsu, are you ready?
I am so ready. Thank you for asking, Carbon. This is going to be an amazing weekend, but we're going to give away the next golden ticket, and I cannot wait to see what the teams are going to bring to the table, because this should be awesome. Woody, are you ready?
It's a golden ticket to the Clash Worlds for $1 million prize pool. So much is on the line this month, and we have got a big shakeup in the metagame with a huge nerf to Root Rider. But I think that the most important thing that we have to announce this month is the return of Clash Bashing, hot off of his success from the Snapdragon Pro Series. How you doing, Bash?
Oh, what do you know? I'm excited. I'm ready to go here. You're right. We did just have some big changes come to the game, and I'm excited to see what these 6 teams bring for us. Speaking of that, Carbon, tell us how we got here, man.
Indeed, they had to compete through different stages, and in stage 1 was open to the public. Everyone can sign up and compete, but then the top teams were moving on to stage 2 for the monthly qualifiers, and then the top 6 from that are playing this weekend in the monthly finals. And if you don't get a golden ticket, you're then awarded a silver ticket for the last chance qualifiers, and eventually the end goal is the Clash of Clans World Championship later at the end of this year, Itsu.
That's right. We are going to take a look at this double elimination bracket this weekend, where the top 2 seeded teams from the stage before actually going to get a bye for this weekend. Every single match is going to be played in a 5 versus 5 clan war, where each player can only attack once. In the end, the first place team is going to earn a golden ticket to later than this year, the World's Finals, and the second place team is going to earn a silver ticket to qualify for the last chance qualifier. But there is more on the line than just those tickets. Woody, what is it?
The most important thing is the accolades, the pride, the glory of combat. But also there's quite a lot of money on the line too. First place gets 18,000 US dollars. Second place coming home with 12,000 as well. In addition to the tickets that they're gonna win, which can score even more cash at the World Championship. Third through 6th won't earn tickets, but they do earn quite a bit of booty. They are gonna be gobbling up $8,500 in third place, $6,500 for fourth. And even if you come in 5th or 6th place, just qualifying for this spectacular event nets you $5,000. Bash, what are we looking at in the bracket for this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. A nice little chunk of change, but let's take a look at our bracket here. We got 6 teams that are going to compete this weekend. Our top 2 seeds do get a bye starting off today. They'll be playing in matches 3 and 4, but we're going to have 6 total matches to get us going here today.
Indeed, these are going to be some amazing matches, and we will be sending 2 teams home. So which teams are going to be able to advance and keep their streak through an upper bracket? Because moving from an upper bracket definitely gives you a big advantage. But the question is going to be, who do we think is going to be winning these matchups here? So let's take a look at our predictions here, Itsu. And whoa, match 1, I'm the outsider picking Dizzy Cenizos while you guys are taking Pulse Gaming.
Yeah, I feel like the first couple of matches you kind of predict based on stats, because we have not really seen much on this weekend from them. In other words, we have not seen anything this weekend from any of those teams, which means it's more about like which team can show up, which team has this clutch factor for this weekend, because this is for sure something which we have learned over the last couple of months, that even if some stats of those teams might not look the best or might look like they would favor one side, we have seen crazy upsets. So I'm really looking forward to see which team is going to show up to play today and over the entire weekend to then have a really good shot at actually getting this golden ticket. Woody, for the second match, it seems like you are kind of alone with your prediction. Talk us through what your thought process was on that one.
Okay, sure, yeah. So I took Vista Ridge in the second round, and I gotta say, the momentum shifters are very impressive. Although they were knocked down to the lower bracket in the very first qualifier, they actually did go 8-0, an undefeated streak through the lower bracket. So they've got some great points on their side, but they were run through a lower bracket. They were going up against easier opponents. I think that they might have had a little bit of a skip through in that qualifier phase, whereas Vista Ridge has been fighting from the top. They may slightly be underdogs here, but they are also this like international super group team that's come cobbled together from multiple different countries. This is kind of a wild card team for me that could either, kind of fizzle out early or really hit it hard early on. So I thought I'd pick them and see how they do. But Bash, let's go to your picks. You were just right there alongside Itsu, taking both Pulse and Mo. Anything that you want to point out about those two teams?
Now, kind of like what Itsu said, we haven't seen these guys playing just quite yet. Obviously, we can go on history, but statistically, these two are the favorites. So I kind of just front ran since I'm kind of new here. I didn't want to, make any bold predictions or anything like that. I just went with the favorites statistically here.
And these are our picks here, but you can all pick at home if you head over to event.supercell.com/Clash of Clans, and that is where you could be earning in-game rewards and prizes. So be sure to head over there and get your predictions in. Plus, there's some trivia over there. There's a lot of cool things. Plus, watching the stream, head over there and you'll be getting those rewards. We want to also know your predictions, and we'll be finding those out throughout the matches over this whole weekend, but it's going to be an incredible weekend to be bringing you some amazing matches. And tomorrow, again, we're going to be giving away a golden ticket here. And I'm sure a lot of people in the community, they know from the recent update that there was a hard mode that came out. Itsu, would you like to maybe talk a little bit more about what entails with that? And would we be seeing this weekend here?
Yeah, well, the hard mode is out, or was released with the last update, but just to make sure that there is no problems or anything and people can adapt to a new meta and everything is not going to be played on this weekend. The same as with the new troop, so we won't see that one sadly this weekend, but we can still enjoy some fun attacks of those pros. And let us introduce those first couple of teams, because I think the first match is around the corner. And I think we should really take a look at those stats because they are impressive. Take a look at this. Pulse Gaming, 99.9% average destruction, 14.9 stars on average. This is really, really impressive to show. But on the other side, that's not bad stats at all. And in the end, we have talked about it, this class factor has to come in to make sure that they're pushing the last nerfs off the cliff and somehow making sure that they are as concentrated as possible. But Woody, those stats, they look damn impressive.
Oh yeah, take a look at that on Lincoln. Still a 100% hit rate. No fails whatsoever. And somehow Sahara has a 100% destruction average, even though he might have missed a 3-star here or there. Still, Pulse Gaming is definitely in the upper echelon of this qualifiers, and even though they're going to be missing out on a chance for the bye in the first round, I think that they've got a really, really solid shot here, because not only have they defeated a Dizzy team already in the qualifiers, the open qualifiers, they got a 15-14 win over Dizzy. They have just got a stat line advantage across the board. Now, Dizzy certainly has earned its spot here today. Let's go ask Bash if you want to give us a good case for why Dizzy x Cenizos might get the chance to win. What is it going to be?
Well, I mean, it's not like they're like far behind here. The statistics are just, what was it, like 0.8% of a difference here. So it's not a crazy difference. And obviously they've qualified here for our qualifier. They made it this far, and in Clash of Clans Esports, anything can happen. We just had a huge balance change this past week. We all know that speed is the name of the game, and sometimes when your opponent is trying to go fast and kind of keep up with those fast attacks, you can force out a mistake. Whether it be a little mistake that costs them just a few seconds, or a big mistake and they miss a 3-star, anything could happen here. And obviously these guys know how to do it because, well, they're here in our qualifier.
Indeed, like you said, Bash, one small mistake and you could be losing this match. And even if you have a first or second seed, we've seen teams lose a match and get eliminated even on the very first day of getting a first round bye, which we will be seeing those two teams a little bit later, Mills team and Tribe. So you won't see them in the first two matches, but they're waiting to see who their opponents are going to be. So it's going to be an incredible day here, plus tomorrow, and we'll be sending two teams home today. But let's jump into this very first attack of this match as we're getting ready. So Itsu and I will take this one. We'll see Woody and Bash in just a little later in the future matches. But Itsu, we're picking different teams here in this very first one. So what was your thought process behind Pulse taking this one?
I mean, Bash went with the same idea. He kind of just went with the sets. I did the same. I mean, you have seen on paper, Pulse is just way ahead. But then again, it's like all about this class factor, which I feel like we have seen over the last couple of months come in many times. We had crazy upsets, as you said, teams which were ranked on the first or even second seed during the stage before this one got eliminated on the first day already of this double elimination bracket, even though they were seed number 1 or 2. So it's all about showing up on this weekend, showing up today in this match, and really making sure that you're early into the match, putting up pressure on the other team, because as Bash said earlier, time is a really important tiebreaker in those matches at the highest level. So being able to pressure the other team early so they feel like that time is going to be always like this important threshold which they have to push further and further is a really important mind game in those matches on the highest level.
Yeah, and one thing you do not want to do is start off a war with a 1-star. We've seen it before, and it is devastating. You need to at least get that 2, but 2 stars? Yes, they do win wars, but are they going to be winning these wars where they're going for those perfect wars? And one small mistake again, we keep reiterating it because that is where those town halls that are typically in the core of the bases now, where if you're going in with a lot of root riders and they open up some wrong walls, you can start going around the base and ignore the town hall. It could lead to a lot of 1-stars. I think we've seen the most amount of 1-stars potentially because of these players going for speed. They're trying to go as fast as possible. When the time is not a factor, then they are going to be able to come in with attacks they may are more comfortable with. But they are really good with these root riders. They are so strong. But we're going to be getting into this very first attack here, as it's going to be coming very soon.
Well, let's take a look at whatever is going to happen next with the attacks and everything going on. Hopefully we're not missing out on too much right here. But it seems like that the first attack was already a first shot with a decent time. We have talked about it, time being an important factor. But as well, time is now, well, a little bit slower maybe with the recent balance changes, which we had with the Root Riders getting nerfed a little bit. And you have now to rely on other troops dealing the damage, because remember, the nerf of the Root Riders, their damage was like reduced to half. Half the DPS was removed for the Root Riders, and this now means that Valkyries, Super Barbarians, other troops, other supportive troops then behind them have to deal all the damage.
Yep. Hey, you have to keep your eye on those types of attacks. We will be taking a look at it a little bit later, as there was an issue of getting into it, so we'll see what Dizzy could do, since we do now know Pulse did get a 3-star at about a minute 23. And with that knowledge of a minute 23, can they lower, or can Dizzy Cenizos get under that mark? And here we go. All right, we're getting into at least this one here. Taking a look again, we are seeing the Root Riders and Valkyries with the Hog Puppets. Such a strong hero ability for that Royal Champion, as they are placing the Root Riders and Valkyries straight away to the bottom side into the Eagle Artillery.
Yeah, and already showcasing those equipments early. Do you think we will see a lot of the new Royal Champ equipment of the Rocket Spear, or do you think it's not really fitting into the meta? Do you think it's not like maybe as strong, or how do you feel about that one?
I'm not sure if I don't know. The Rocket Spear, yeah, it's good, but they might not have an upgrade, right? They might be focusing on other hero equipment that they have more they're more comfortable with. Maybe the one ability I definitely think we'll be seeing is the spiky ball, as they've had more practice over the last month. That could be a very nice cleanup ability, especially for that king if he's going to be sent around the space, as it looks like the Root Riders and Velks are moving around. Does have to take that town hall down, but with that earthquake, or no, the overgrowth used, he's got to wait for it to disappear before pathing now into the town hall, which he does end up investing that freeze.
Yeah, the Monolith now has locked onto the Archer Queen, but at this point, since she can only take down the storage, she should be fine there, even if she's going down. But this is going to be an obvious 3-star. But the question is the time. I think it was a little bit tiny slower, right, than the attack from Pulse Gaming. Yeah, a tiny little bit. So I would say for the beginning, this match is just super, super even, considering how many times we have seen huge swings in either stars or time over a match in the past. So both teams starting off strong with solid times, solid 3 stars. So I think they can be both happy.
Yeah, they're happy with those times. So it's basically even. Yes, a few seconds here and there. It does make a difference in the end of the war, but it's still, they can focus on their hits and continue to try to bring in those faster triples, as these players are so good here. Pulse Gaming coming in with such a high hit rate, but they're looking to continue through an upper bracket. Remember, this is a double elimination. This is the first match that we're having here today out of 6. 2 teams will be going home, as Sahara is coming in with a Root Rider and Velks as well, and continuing with the Hog Puppet Haste Foul on that Royal Champion as the Queen is placed towards the top, as we're going to be setting these Root Riders and Velks in between this King and Queen to push into the core.
Yes, and I feel like something which those pros are doing compared maybe to some players out there who have struggled with the Root Riders after the recent nerf is you really have to make sure that you are trying to separate your heroes a little bit, not just put all of them behind the Root Riders. As we can clearly see here, have the King dive into one compartment, the Queen on the other side for funneling with the Siege Barracks. We have the Root Riders then diving into the core, dealing all of the damage, while then leaving the Town Hall because of the Overgrowth spell to the back end to really enable your troops and have as much power with this punch as possible.
Yeah, they're moving all the way around to the right side. We'll be able to come back to the Town Hall as the Overgrowth disappears. The Royal Champion still has her ability. Headhunters, look at this, pushed right into that defensive King while that was all Overgrowth, so that the Headhunters and Skeletons would basically be able to help take him down very nicely, as now he invests in more freezes. Town Hall goes down, Monolith as well, and this is an overwhelming 3-star here for Sahara, for Pulse Gaming. Great attack there, as they were at a minute 23 average to start with the first attack, and now he lowered it to a minute and 19 with a minute 16 attack here. What a fantastic job to kick off a second attack for your team.
Yeah, really, really nicely done, and really showcasing how important it is to separate those heroes to make sure that your push is as strong as possible. And it's not backtracking. I feel like that's such an important thing to learn, that your troops are always pushing forward, and you're doing this with like having or generating this wave of power which is slowly overcoming the defending village as well. Since I'm seeing that a lot in the chat with the questions, is no, this is not in the hard mode. Hard mode is not getting used for this weekend's competition, the same as the Druid, because those additions were kind of recent, which means they're not getting used on this weekend, since the preparation time for the pros would have been not really that much, to be honest. Instead, we have, though, the next attack coming in with, again, the classic equipment combinations with a lot of Super Barbarians, but he's finding a lot of Spring Traps early on as well.
Yeah, Spring Traps are there, usually, especially for those Valkyries, which we are seeing on the left side come in. Poison spell gets launched to his King, really nicely using that jump spell on the outside to help set that funnel, but he does have that Overgrowth, which we will be seeing on the Town Hall, so he can ignore the Town Hall, come back for it. But that Royal Champion had to use the Rage up top, and unfortunately, she did already lose her Spear Fox.
Yeah, and that is a lot of power lost, but she has now those Hog Riders in front of her, tanking and making sure she's staying safe, while she is just dealing non-stop damage with this haste equipment. but still, a lot of troops have went around the bottom side, are opening now the compartments for this Archer Queen, and she can then cycle back around towards the Town Hall. And the idea of this overgrowth spell, really making sure that you're trying to avoid this explosion of the Town Hall, which means the damage of the explosion itself, but as well the Town Hall poison, because with this approach now you can tell when the Town Hall is gone, the attack is pretty much already over. So this is the idea of this overgrowth spell, which makes this attack strategy so powerful. But as well, Carpet, we have seen a lot of 1-stars because it can be sometimes risky with leaving the Town Hall as the last building.
Absolutely. That is a very risky approach, but these pros know they have to take the risk in order to be able to try to get those quicker times and give your best chance of advancing in a tournament like this. Granted, you lose, you still have an opportunity. We saw from the very first month where Synchronic, they lost their very first match and they ended up winning out from the lower bracket and forcing a bracket reset to get a golden ticket. But it is a very difficult path to follow, and not many teams are able to do that. So losing a match in the very first one here at the beginning of the weekend is going to be a long road throughout the rest of the weekend, today and tomorrow, to try to get that golden ticket or even that silver ticket for the last chance qualifiers.
Yeah, because getting those tickets means that you are qualifying yourself for more tournaments guaranteed, which have then as well other prize money involved. And on this one, you have said it earlier, we are actually going to see the spiky ball first, which can deal a lot of damage, but sometimes it just feels like that the synergy between the Rage Vial and the Gauntlet of the Barbarian King is just so good that a lot of people are just not upgrading the spiky ball because they have already this power. But on this one, well, is it going to get the value he's looking for or not? We will find out with this jump King dive into the defending Queen compartment.
And he's got the giant gauntlet, which means if he finds a bunch of skeletons, he's able to easily do the splash damage and take them down. And his ability goes off right there and skips across. Remember, if it hits the spell tower, it would one-shot and take it down, but it unfortunately didn't hit it. Does pull the spell tower there and taking out the skeletons, while the Root Riders coming to the left, straight into the monolith. And that Town Hall is to the far right side, still waiting on that overgrowth. But the Warden, oh, unfortunately, his path a little bit off there. Let's see, did he grab all of the Root Riders? And luckily, he is trying to heal them back up. And the overgrowth has been used as the Queen continues her walk from the bottom side.
Yeah, and he has not clipped that single front tower behind the town. Take a look at that. It has already dealt so much damage. And this is exactly what we have meant. This can turn out risky if your troops are going down. And that's exactly what is happening right now, because the client caster at this point is getting looted as well. And there is multiple witches. Do they all go into that poison spell so far? One witch survives. He's re-adding more barbarians, but this means he has less power than maybe to overcome the back end as the town hall's going down.
Yeah, with the Queen ability now popping at the healers, they're going to heal this Queen back up to full. Pops the RC ability. She's hasting around, and it is a 3-star, but a minute and a half here and ticking, which is going to bring their time back up closer to Dizzy Cenizos. And there we go. 3-star, though, is still better than getting a 2-star. Any 2-star. So great job of keeping pace and now putting a little bit more pressure on Dizzy.
That's right. Time on the other side wasn't the quickest, which means we could see now one team pulling ahead, since this match so far was really, really close. Both teams having incredible performances on offense, on stars and on time. And now we have to take a look if Dizzy can repeat that performance again to get another 3-star and make sure that they're not really getting their average time way lower.
Yeah, you gotta lower that time. Granted, any small mistake, missing one outside building, Root Riders, Valks going around, or even on the defensive side, a bunch of spring traps on the outside is meant to help slow you down, as we've got the Queen and King placed to the bottom side. As this King can go straight into the Eagle Artillery. You have the defensive King down there as the Root Riders and Valks coming right on it. Oh, not Valks just yet. He's waiting until the walls probably open up from the Root Riders. But it looks like because of the gap of the defenses, the Root Riders kind of veer to the left side, and the Valks are kind of splitting off here.
Oh no, this is not looking like the opening he was hoping for, and he's using the overgrowth spell again. And this is what we then have seen some problems sometimes for the attackers, especially with the overgrowth spell. If the opening is not going to plan. So the question now is, does he have enough of those root riders surviving until the overgrowth spell is running out? Because this is now what he's activating. The Town Hall would be literally the last building to go down, and he has to make sure that enough power is surviving, so he's actually making it back to the Town Hall.
Yeah, Queen already burnt her ability. The big thing left he has is that RC ability, Rage, and Freeze. A couple Super Barbarians can be placed around that can even come into the Town Hall as it comes back from the overgrowth, from the bottom side of the base. He's just being patient. He's waiting as he now pops the RC ability. Overgrowth disappears, so now he can continue to path back into the core.
Yeah, and this should be all right. The spell management was really, really good, which is allowing him to still get this 3-star. But the time, because of a little bit of power, which he has missed early, is not the fastest, even though those two teams should be still really, really close together. Let's see how much time this is going to impact. And yeah, they're a little bit behind still, but overall, this match is staying close, Carbon.
Yeah, a few seconds is a differential here, and not many attacks left, meaning you have to really get a quick attack to lower that average duration of the rest of the attacks from this match. But the next attacker for Pulse Gaming is going to be Chihuahua. Can he get a quicker triple? We'll be using the Root Riders Valks, which we haven't seen some dragons, and that is a very strong attack using a Queen's Giant Arrow, dragons, clone spells with the blue. Oh, there we go. It is dragons indeed coming in with even that spiky ball and the giant arrow, but no clone here. And unless he switches up a log launcher, typically it's the blimp, but he's selected a Stone Slammer at this point.
Yeah, but I think the left or right side looks really, really solid for the spiky ball, because he can take down the entire compartment there, right? Or no, he's going to send it for the back end, triggering that Invis Tower early. But remember, he is now already losing that Queen ability and already a couple of spells, which he invested to make sure those spell towers go down. But is that really bad? I think so far the beginning looks solid.
Yeah, beginning looks really good here as the Super Dragon did come out of the Stone Slammer. He does need these dragons to go to the Town Hall. And look at that spiky ball. It helps establish more of a funnel for these dragons to come back to the Town Hall here as he drops a poison spell for all the archers that are coming out of the CC.
Oh, so many archers. They knew that there will be those dragon attacks coming in on this base. I feel like invisibility towers are perfect to attack with the dragons because of the giant arrow and this being such a common equipment for this attack strategy. But there's still a lot of power left and time is ticking. Can the Queen reach that Town Hall? Yes, no problem whatsoever. And the King is even opening the next compartment. This looks really good. But the Royal Champ, why is he? Okay, now he's using the Royal Champ ability. I feel like he could have used that a bit earlier, because remember, the haste effect of the Royal Champ is going to last for 12 seconds, which means he kind of wasted a little bit of this time, and this is resulting in an, well, maybe slower attack.
Yeah, but it's still a great attack. Fantastic use of the Queen's Giant Arrow to fly across the base, Earthquake, and take out both spells right in the middle, which included the invisibility spell, meaning that, or the invisibility tower on the defensive side, because that would be a big problem as your troops are moving in and that Town Hall would go invisible. You would ignore it and it could cause problems. But great job of sniping it with the arrow, and then the spiky ball to set an additional funnel to help try to bring those dragons back to the core.
Yeah, but now it's back to Dizzy, and the question is, can they improve their time? They have to do so, because right now they are behind 3 stars as well, but it's going to be the Root Riders again, the Overgrowth as well. And we have a heavy stacked defensive pod around the Town Hall, which means you can catch all of that with the Overgrowth spell together.
Yeah, with the Root Riders and Valks, we're looking to see the King coming off to the right, and there's a jump, which is going to be used for this King to get into that scatter shot and the Rage spell compartment, as the Warden is now down to the left side, while we're seeing a Royal Champ and raging her up straight into the Eagle. Look at the Eagle exposed right to the bottom side. He can take that down so quickly, so he doesn't have to worry about those Eagle artillery shots raining down on his troops.
Yeah, but a really interesting setup with this island around the monolith. But there's now a couple of Valkyries going to that compartment, so that defense is no problem whatsoever. Really, really good for him that there were some Valkyries splitting into that compartment. And he has this huge King Dive. The Royal Champ has their ability to select with those Super Hawk Riders. He's pushing in fast. And there goes the Overgrowth spell. But there's still a lot of defenses to clear when the Town Hall and every other defense around it is going to wake up again.
Yeah, the Overgrowth there, remember, it lasts quite a bit. So if you drop it late, you have nothing to do but just wait around until the Overgrowth spell disappears. As the Velks continue to go for the wall, going to take out that Clan Castle. Still has Queen ability, still has Royal Champion, and now they're just waiting. There you go. Finally, it now disappears, and he can help remove the Town Hall with ease with all that damage left. And look at all the red air bombs. Not going to do anything to stop this one, as Dizzy does get that triple. Great job to keeping it all tied up. 12-12 now, and only a 3-second average differential.
Yeah, really solid time, improving their average, but they need another time like this or even better. But on the other side, Pulse Gaming looking really, really solid with their 3-star rate and with their average time. We have seen their stats before the match, which was really impressive. They had one player still being perfect. We had still other players which they were all above the 95% hit rate, which is, even in the current meta, not anything easy to accomplish. And now we see their last attack. Can they secure this victory? And they're going with the Electric Dragons. And it's going to be, a similar base, but instead the Invest Tower with this time around have the Poison Tower next to the Town Hall, Carbon.
Now we have a lightning spell being used on the left to help take out one sweeper that was pointing in the direction that the E-Dragons are now flying into. And the Queen, she does not continue. Oh wait, nope, never mind, she does. She's trying to pick which direction she wants to go, while the Stowe Slammer just took out the Eagle Artillery.
Yeah, and so far I think the pathing looks great. As long as those Electric Dragons go into the core now, it looks like they should. The chop set was quick enough, and those chains now should be incredible in the core. Take a look at that. The Town Hall is already getting damaged over those, or with those chains. We have the Royal Champ getting sent in for the last compartment on the left side, while the King and Queen, more left, like what was left over from the King, clearing out the bottom compartment.
Yeah, with those E-Dragons clearing the core, taking the Town Hall down, we're going to move into that multi-target inferno. The Queen has the healers back on top of her, so she can continue to clear this bottom side of the compartment. But these E-Dragons are slowly disappearing. The Royal Champion, she goes down, and now time is going to be a huge factor as he has to path his way all the way back up to that scatter shot.
Oh no, but he has the Phoenix on the Warden, so even if he's now going down, he's going to revive, and that could be clutch.
Wow,
without that
clutch.
Phoenix egg, this scatter would have probably not went down, because now it should go down, even though time is really not the quickest. We have the Phoenix taking down the scatter shot, which is clutch. The Queen finally joining up with the remaining couple of troops. But Carbon, I think Dizzy still needs a really, really fast attack to still have this match on their side.
Oh my, let's take a look, as that is now a perfect war for Pulse Gaming. But the question, 1 minute 28 seconds, which means that Dizzy is going to still have to bring a quick triple to get a victory in the very first match here this weekend. And the pressure is now on. Can Melly get it done to help win and advance to the next round? If you don't, you're going to be dropping down to the lower bracket and facing an elimination match.
Oh no, and you don't want to start into the day like this. This is like the worst possible scenario for those teams, and we see another dragon attack. Dragons currently are just such a strong, incredible strong troop, especially they're synergizing so well with a lot of those equipments. And question is now is how much value can he get? He even brought in the jump spell to get more value for his Barbarian King. And there goes the arrow. He did not... Watch this. Did he get anything crazy with that, Carbon?
I don't see. I see the sweeper. Maybe he was trying to hit the sweeper that is point on the left side of the town hall, so it didn't push anything coming into the town hall from the right side. But he does have the healers on this queen. As the warden ability goes off straight away, we have a siege barracks to the top side with the 2 P.E.K.K.A.s going through there. Finds a tornado trap as these dragons are continuing to try to push their way to the core. He wants to take out the CC so he doesn't lure out any ice golems. And look at that! Look at that! The dragons take it out before the king gets in range.
That was so clutch. This could have been a huge difference, but take a look at this. With those raged up defenses, the dragons on the far right side went down really quick. So he has to now rage up the Royal Champion instead and rely on the remaining dragons on the left side. And as I'm saying this, the Archer Tower is staying alive, the Multi Archer Tower, and has taken care of all of those dragons.
Yeah.
And is this now enough power?
Oh no, he didn't rage up that queen. If he froze that defenses and raged the queen up, that would have been clutch. But he's continued to move around. The Royal Champion's taking it down. And now it's all about time. He's smiling here. And look at that.
Wow.
Melly gets the perfect war as well. As Pulse Gaming was at 1:28. And this now puts Dizzy at 1:25. And Dizzy gets the victory here in the very first match. What an attack here. Making it up in the end with all the pressure on and coming in clutch with a 1 minute and 9 second triple.
And you have predicted it. Dizzy is going to win this match. Coming in clutch. This is what I said. Like, this is what is so important for this weekend. You need this clutch factor. You need to show up when it matters the most. And that's exactly what Melly did for his team in this match. Showing up when it matters, even though the attack somehow looked close, but it was just so fast at the same time, Carbon.
Yeah, it was just... What an attack, coming with the drags to the right side. Everything was down, essentially. The heroes to the troops, siege barracks, pushing his way right around. Incredible job. And they will be advancing to the next round in the upper bracket. Pulse Gaming, they will still be in it. They're not eliminated, but they're going down to the lower bracket, and they will be playing later today with the elimination potentially on the line. So the pressure is now on them. They're gonna have to make a very deep and far run through the lower bracket if they want a chance of getting a golden or even a silver ticket.
Yeah, I'm just currently checking the stats. Pulse Gaming, according to the stats, they have the highest average 3-star rate, and they're going down to the lower bracket early on. That was a huge surprise, and I mean, that was just a super impressive showing. And coming in clutch with the last attack, somehow making the dragons work, even though I'm still thinking, I feel like the giant arrow missed the target.
Yeah.
But it still worked in the end because you dealt some damage, you generated the healers for the Barbarian King and for the Archer Queen. The pathing was still somewhat set for the dragons, and things worked out great for them to get that really, really impressive fast 3-star.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about they have the highest 3-star hit rate. Well, they did still get all 3 stars. So, I mean, they continue that. It was the question of time. They were just, unfortunately, on average, slower, which cost them in this match. They gotta be quicker in order to be able to win a match like this, as it was a perfect. And I'm sure we maybe see even more perfect because all these players are making their hero equipments even stronger month by month. And now some using the maxed out spiky balls, some using the, we're all seeing definitely the hog puppet is very popular for that Royal Champion. So if you're thinking about the hero equipments for the Royal Champion, is there any kind of consideration to be using the different equipments, maybe even to speak about the Rocket Spear a little bit more for any viewers and players out there of when might be a really good time to use it?
I mean, I feel like overall, currently there is a lot of default combinations, I would say, which are fitting to a lot of different army compositions. The Barbarian King, the classic one, the Rage Vial, and the Gauntlet together, it just always works. It just always gets really solid value. So as soon as you have this set of equipment on a decent level, you're good to go for like 99% of the strategies. The same thing with the Royal Champion, with their Haste, and with their Hog Rider Puppet. This combination is just so good from those strategies that a lot of times, as soon as you have this on a decent level, you are good to go for the majority of attacks out there. I feel like the hero which has the most by far combinations which are powerful is the Warden, with like Healing Tome and Eternal Tome being for those Dragon or the Root Rider attacks really powerful. But you have those crazy Warden charges as well with the Rage Aura and the Fireball. So the Warden has a lot of really flexible options. And then the Archer Queen is like, we have the Giant Arrow now coming into play a lot of times. We have the Healer Puppet being really strong, Invis-Vial. So the Archer Queen as well has a little bit more options equipment-wise. So I would say if you want to concentrate on how you should spend your ores, I think Royal Champ and Barbarian King, go for the classics. I mean, not really reason to, if you have not many ores available, go for too many different equipment options, and then instead concentrate on more different equipment for the Warden and the Archer Queen instead, because you have more variety than there for different strategies and can react better to whatever strategy you want to play. But Garbin, we should take a look at the MVP of this match. I think we can all agree Melly is deserving this title for sure. His attack got his team in the end the victory with a really quick strike.
He's got to be the MVP there, delivering for a team with the fastest attack for them, and when it mattered most in the clutch time to help advance over Pulse Gaming. Incredible job. We'll be seeing them later today in another match. And then we will also be seeing Pulse Gaming in the lower bracket, fighting for their lives to try to stay in this month's monthly finals for their chance. Well, let's go ahead and welcome back Woody and Bash here. What an incredible match. We'll start off with you, Woody. What was your thoughts?
It was an insane back and forth from the very beginning. I could not have predicted a perfect v perfect with such quick timing as well. Pretty much everything has to go right for both teams for it to come down to a 15-15 and then go to the tiebreaker on time at the very end. But that just shows you the caliber, the level of skill that we have at the World Championship here. I mean, we do see perfect v perfect not infrequently, but it's even more difficult to pull it off when you know that all of your attacks are being watched on camera, when getting kicked down to the lower bracket is a very painful experience, and when succeeding is just at the very most difficult that it can possibly be. So really big kudos to Melee for being able to pull that off with a 1 minute and 9 second attack. Bash, I know that you're just as impressed, but you probably have something else to say too, huh?
I mean, coming down to the wire there, 1 minute 9 seconds. I mean, we're talking about the mistakes were like a minute 40 attack, and it's not even really a mistake. It was just, you know, this troop went a little bit sideways, and ultimately that cost them a few seconds. But Millie being able to come into that last spot and deliver a 1 minute 9 second attack, that's crazy. Sub 70 seconds for a 3-star. It's just insane, but well deserved and absolutely earned by them.
Yeah, incredible. So let's take a look at the bracket and where these teams now stand, because it is a double elimination tournament here. Incredible job. But maybe we're going to be jumping actually in the next match, which is going to be Mobile Shifters versus Vista Ridge, as these guys are going to continue to try to advance to see who will win, and they will be taking on Tribe Gaming, who's waiting next here at Itsu.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we have this time around not an as big difference in stats as the first match, but we have seen already that those stats are not telling the full story, because remember, all of those teams came from different bracket trees from the earlier stages. So the question is, maybe some of the teams had an easier road, maybe not, who knows? But the thing they have to do is to show up today, and those stats are really promising from MO Shifters to make sure that they're showing up today and delivering as good as possible. But they're not playing versus anyone. They have a really tough opponent as well on the other side, Woody.
Yeah, that's right. We mentioned earlier that Momentum Shifters had an 8-0 run through the lower bracket of the monthly qualifiers. They went undefeated for 8 wars in a row, is really an incredible accomplishment. But as you mentioned, because they were in the lower bracket, they were also going up against teams that also had a loss through the entire way. So that might have kind of inflated their stats a little bit relative to Vista Ridge, who went through the upper bracket. In fact, they were only seconds away from being the #1 seeded team in the entire month. They went up against Millicene MG in the very last war, and they had a 15-15 tie, just losing out on time against Millicene. So if they had been a little bit quicker, they could have been the #1 seed this time. Vista Ridge might only have 1 out of the 4 caster picks for the win in this war, but I do not think that they are an underdog at all. And in fact, with my prediction going to Vista Ridge, I think that they may have a better shot at winning. But Bash, you might disagree. You took momentum shifters in this next match. What do you think about that?
Well, I went purely on statistics, and as we saw in War 1, the stats don't really matter when it comes down to the live action here. Anything can happen. All it takes is that one attack to be 10 seconds slower and someone to go 10 seconds faster to really shift that momentum shifters. So this one could play out either way for these clans. I think this one's more of a coin flip. I think we would say that first one's maybe more of an upset. I think this one could be definitely more of a coin flip in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic match here. So Itsu and I will take a seat and hand it off to you, Woody and Bash. Take us through match number 2. Good luck.
All
Bash,
right,
I
Woody.
don't know how they thought that they could get away with putting us both on the same broadcast.
Oh,
the two
Woody.
titans of volume, the beards, the magical energy between us. I just feel that this next match is going to be an amazing one, both to participate in, to watch, to cast. Our first attacker is going to be Ahmad going in against Manik. Vista Ridge on the defense will have also a positional advantage in this next round, getting the chance to return fire and knowing if they need to go for that perfect war or if they can just play it a little bit cool on the time front. We'll see if Ahmad gets a clever start out the gate with a quick hit. What do you think is going to happen next, Bash?
Well, obviously, I think we'll see a lot of Root Riders. I think we'll see a lot of similar stuff that we saw in that first war here. Root Riders and Dragons are definitely super, super quick. The thing to keep your eye on is the hero equipment, but we are already in here. Battle Blimp is flying to the Town Hall. We do have Electro Dragons, so kind of the third out of the strategies that are really, really quick. So the balloons out of the Battle Blimp will take that Town Hall down. E-Drags are going to push through. Look at the chain value here, Woody. Those E-Drags are chaining through this core.
Absolutely right. They knocked out about 2/3 of the base really, really quickly, lightning fast, you could say. And with all of these hero abilities ready to get popped pretty fast as well, it is an early smash, grabbing 80% of the base in 45 seconds.
Wow.
Cleanup is not looking to take very long either, as the heroes are all still very healthy, hopping over walls, smashing through the remaining defenses. We may have a sub 1 minute attack in the first hit. Ahmad, go for it! Yes!
No way, Woody!
58-second attack, Bash!
Oh, baby, a triple. That was so fast. 57 seconds. We talk about setting the tone for a war, and that is how you do it. We thought 1:09 in the last war was clutch and fast, but Ahmed comes in with the E-Drags and just absolutely obliterates that base.
Among the greatest of all time, getting some accolades in the chat. Congrats to Ahmad for not only starting off with a triple, but the fastest attack we've seen all day. Anything that is sub 1 minute is certainly a contender for MVP. He'll be up on defense next against Pikachu, and we'll get an opportunity to see if his base can hold up as well as his offense does. Pikachu is going to be rocking in there with a nice complement of hero equipment. You got to see he's going to be able to shoot that giant arrow straight through the base. Pow! And follows up with a queen charge out the right corner with plenty of healers to back it up, Bash.
Yeah, we do get the healers right. When you're using that giant arrow, you want the healers there just so they can support that queen. Now we have all the dragons pushing in. We do have the battle blimp coming in. We'll have to, I likely think we'll see that clone on the town hall with balloons out of the clan castle. Keep an eye on the core as that's going down. Sweeper tries to push, but here come the balloons. They get cloned up. Let's see if they can push towards that monolith. Ooh, the sweepers keep them in check, but that queen is working around the outside. Dragons on the top side. He still has Royal Champion yet to be deployed, but everything is going to plan thus far.
He also brought the healer puppet for that Archer Queen, a little bit of an atypical choice. It usually really works well on long attacks that have got some prolonged need for lots of healing. But instead of going for speed this time, he is going to be going just slow and steady. Vista Ridge are not looking to catch up on the timing at all because they are already slower than the first attack from Momentum Shifters. But this does look to be like a pretty solid start. I'm just really worried about that
a little bit here.
Monolith in the center. Yeah, it's really doing a lot of damage to these poor dragons. The heroes are having some trouble. They're going to be able to hop over the bottom wall with that jump spell, but Bash, what are our odds here for a 3-star? It's not looking too
It's not
great.
looking good at all. That Ice Golem freezes up the Royal Champion. She gets taken off. It's all up to the King. This is going to be a miss, Woody. This is going to be a massive miss. Our first miss of the qualifier, and it is going to cost Vista Ridge huge. Not only was it a lot slower, but a 2-star in this meta is unfortunate, as it is going to be very hard for them to come back. Now, if you're Momentum Shifters, you know you've set the momentum, you've set the pace, and now you can kind of just glide through. They don't have to take any risks now, as they're up early with the 3-star to 2-star advantage, plus tons of time on their side. Wow, what an upset.
This is a huge drop for Pikachu, and right after such an amazingly quick attack from the Momentum Shifters, really big advantage just right out of the gate in the first 2 hits. We've seen a perfect v perfect war in the first round, but the second round already starts with a miss in the very first strike. Pikachu will be on defense next against Imran, who is going to look to keep that position strong for the Shifters. And as you mentioned, Bash, at this point, all they really need to do is just put 3 stars up on the board all throughout. They don't have to worry about time. They got it in their favor anyways, though. We're going to get a bouncy ball here from that Barbarian King, and the same sort of setup for the Archer Queen as well. Giant Arrow with the Healer Puppet to give that long, strong assault against this base. Pikachu has got...
Look, nice.
Oh, a big chunk taken out from the Giant Arrow now, and with the hero setup over on the right side corner there, it's a spread of dragons along the top right edge coming into the 1 o'clock position.
So the nice thing with that Giant Arrow there, not only did he pair it with the Archer Puppet there, or the Healer Puppet, excuse me, but that Giant Arrow took out that sweeper through the middle. If you can angle it perfectly like Imran did here, that is very nice. But what I talked about at the beginning of the show is if you go really quick, like we saw, 57-second attack, sometimes that forces your opponent to think they have to go fast and forces that mistake. And that's exactly what we saw in this first volley of attacks. Now, Imran can kind of just make sure that he gets through here, gets the 3-star, and set the pace here. A lot of damage being dealt, and the Town Hall being saved for last. This could be risky. King did have Spiky Ball going off there. We still have Royal Champion coming in from the top side. Now all these dragons are going to have to shift in and take that Town Hall down. Tons of firepower, but he's got to get the job done still.
Archer Queen missed the memo on taking down the Expo first, and with the overgrowth fading, she kind of wandered outside the walls. That'll cost him a few seconds here, but nothing too much that Imran has to worry about. He does pass the 1-minute mark, and so his comrade in arms is still going to have the quicker attack, but a 3-star has been secured, taking down the gold storage last but not least, and the Momentum Shifters will hold on to 6 stars overall with a commanding lead against Vista Ridge.
A minute 19 I saw on that one, and look at their average, a minute and 8 seconds. Obviously, when you have a sub 1 minute attack, it is going to have that average really quick. So if you're Vista Ridge here, it's going to be tough. All you can really do is just 3-star, try to set some good pace. You know you're behind, and you just got to hope that Momentum Shifters make a mistake somewhere, which that's going to be tough, man. We don't see very many mistakes in the current meta.
Next attacker is going to be Electro, coming in over from Vista Ridge next, seeking to start the comeback now. He needs to get a 3-star, and honestly, he needs to get it without really worrying about time too much. They are going to have to get a defense at some point if they want to win this war. So just focus on the solid performance now. It's probably not going to be a time factor at all for this war, and that's kind of a benefit for us as casters knowing that, because we're just going to get to watch whether or not they can execute properly, not just have to try to race for the finish as we saw in War 1. So it's going to be Electro Dragons this time. Bash, take it away.
Yeah, if we saw that Giant Arrow coming again, take out another sweeper, Warden ability to protect the Electro Dragons over the Town Hall. Here comes the King from the top side to keep everything funneling in. I love this wall breaker into that left compartment there. That'll allow that King to surge forward there. Look at this, a clone super minion blimp in the middle of the base while the E-Drags are taking out the Town Hall. This is very, very nice. One more invisibility should allow them just to get a little bit more value. If they can get that ricochet cannon, that'll allow the heroes to work through the middle. This is a really nice play. Now watch this World Champion as she's going to collapse in from the bottom. King's up on top, but Woody, all the E-Directs are gone.
Yet again, Vista Ridge is just running out of their troops early on in the attack. Now, the Royal Champion at the bottom is going lightning fast through this base and still with plenty of Hog Riders to help out. This is going to be a triple, but it just really kind of shows that there's some difficulty in the attack design from the Vista Ridge guys relative to Momentum Shifters, who are tripling and still have plenty of troops left with their attacks. This is, relatively speaking, a much more close finish. Nonetheless, it is the 3-star that Vista Ridge we're looking for. Electra told us before the war began that he's a big fan of Tribe Gaming, and Rakira's in particular. He'll still have to win this war, though, if he wants a chance to advance in the upper bracket to face off against Tribe. And for that to happen, they're gonna need a defense bash.
Yeah, man, and that is a taller task than asking even for a 2-minute 3-star. Leo is going to be up next for Momentum Shifters, and if you're Momentum Shifters and you're kind of there, I'm sure they're on voice, kind of hanging out, talking, planning. You just breathe in, guys. Just focus, get those 3 stars, and let's win this war. Move on. It is going to be the Root Rider attack with those super barbarians in here. Pretty standard hero equipment setup from what I saw here. Wallbreaker is going to come in here to this bottom compartment as he gets everything set up here. The Queen is on the bottom. The King is going to go ahead and surge forward to take out the enemy Queen with a Headhunter, and this setup is looking nice. I think if you're Momentum Shifters, all you do here is focus on 3 stars.
Yep, even with the big nerf to the DPS of the Root Riders, they are still quite viable, and Leo is going to be using them to charge in on this left corner of the base alongside that Barbarian King. King Haaland is going to be just knocking apart these defenses and hopping over walls all around the core of the base with an Overgrowth spell to shut down the core. That is going to be another easy strike. He's going to take down the CC troops next. Does he get the scatter shot first? That would have been nice, but it looks like that's going to stay up for a little bit longer. Still, the Root Riders are having no difficulty at all on the top side, and it's going to be a counterclockwise shift along the rest of the base to try to finish it off toward the end.
With King in that core with Phoenix, he's got a chance to take out the Town Hall and everything once this Overgrowth kind of wears off, which it should be soon. Yeah, there it is. Overgrowth wears off, but the King targets well. Okay, he circles back. We do have super minions out of the clan castle. We get tons of Root Riders on the top, Queen's on the bottom. She was able to survive an onslaught from an Expo, and then the Unicorn's healing her back up. Now it's just going to be a surge into this core with the Queen, with the Root Riders, and with that Royal Champion's ability. Yeah, look at that. King stays up with the Phoenix, and it's another 3-star for Momentum Shifters. Leo gets the job done.
Leo, one of the German players on this lineup, told us that the Queen is his favorite hero, and he really looks forward to playing against Tribe as well. They're German mates, and he called them an insane team. Really big fan of Stefan in particular. But let's go ahead and look back at Vista Ridge next. It's going to be Sora moving in for the return fire, trying to keep their heads held high. Another big fan of the Queen charge attacks. We'll see how he does. He's a big supporter of the Queen Walkers as well. He really said that he was proud of U-14's performance at Worlds, and is going to try to mimic that success here in his strike against Sora. Yeah, 2 Rage Towers in the core of this base, Bash.
We don't see a lot of Queen charges these days, unfortunately, just because it's a little bit slower. Not that it's not a good attack strategy. Queen charge is still amazing. Every once in a while, you'll see that healer puppet being used like we saw in the first couple of attacks. And we'll do like a little bit of a mini Queen charge, more of a Queen walk on the outside of the base just to kind of funnel for dragon troops. But you don't really see those deep charges into bases anymore, unfortunately. Root Riders are surging into the base, however. The Overgrowth is going to go ahead and protect those Root Riders as they move through. We do have the Ice Golems in the Clan Castle, and we have the heroes kind of working on opposite sides. I like this quite a bit. The Super Hog Riders out of the Siege Barracks are going to pair up with that Royal Champion. The King and Queen are going to pair up on the other side, and now those Roots are going to protect the Royal Champion even more as they clear these outside buildings and work their way back to the core.
Sora attacking third has got an interesting position here for Vista Ridge. He's not going to be one of the initial attackers that just needs to get one of those reliable, quick and solid, steady 3 stars. He's also not one of the clutch hitters at the end here who's going to be responsible for cleaning up this war. Instead, he's got to be able to play both sides of this, either going for that safe 3 or trying to hit hard and fast. It turns out this is going to be a 3-star and coming in at about 1 minute and 19 seconds. It's a average solid performance here for Clash Worlds to be able to pull that off, but Vista Ridge know that even with a solid hit from Sora there, they still need a defense to pull off a win. against their opponents.
Yeah, most attacks, a minute 19 is about where you want to be. Obviously, a few seconds faster is good, but a minute 19 seems to be kind of the pace of play. If you're able to hang in there, you're usually going to give yourself a chance to win. However, we saw in that first attack, man, we saw the miss, the big 2-star miss from Pikachu, unfortunately. And momentum shifters have all the momentum. Sean is going to go ahead and go in next against Eric's base, and we have another Root Rider attack, a pretty safe attack. I know the Root Riders got that massive nerf, but they are still so strong. They have a lot less DPS and slightly less hit points, but when you pair them up with the Valkyries, with the heroes, and with a few super barbarians, you're able just to surge through and crush bases. As we look for Sean to do that right here, the heroes and everything are starting to surge in. Root Riders are in. Let's see if he can get this 3-star.
Yeah, Root Riders strong, certainly viable, but maybe not quite as overpowered as they may have been before. Paired with Valkyries and also Elite Barbarians are going to be, Super Barbarians are going to be moving through to try to get the cleanup toward the end here. We have got a lot of big power punching into the core, though, now with that Grand Warden's Eternal Tome popping off and keeping everything as safe as they can. Going to be a little bit of a slowdown as the overgrowth is going to prevent the lock-on for those troops, but as long as they stay toward the core, they might be able to finish off the Town Hall when that spell wears off. A Giant Bomb's going to blow up right in their face, and that's a bit more splash damage for them to have to deal with, but Sean still is looking pretty strong here as he rounds around toward that left interior section. Overgrowth is still up, but those super minions up top are going to cause quite a bit of damage and issues if you can't find a way to take them down quickly, Bash.
Those are offensive super minions there, bud. Offensive super minions out of the siege barracks.
They popped out the siege barracks.
Blasts in. Yeah, it's going to be a 3-star. It's going to be a 3-star. It's all right, Woody. That's what I'm here for, bud. I got your back. A nice attack here from Sean. One thing I don't think we focus on a lot is the super barbarians on the attack. On that one specifically, I saw those super barbarians just absolutely crushing the top of the base, and that allows everything to circle back and take out that town hall. The super minions are a nice little sneaky play out of that siege barracks. We're either going to see super minions or super hog riders in there, and the super minions just did a great job. I mean, they were so OP, you thought they were on the other team.
Yeah, seeing them so deep in the base was quite a surprise. A lot of times you see those sneaking out of the CC as kind of an off pick instead of the Ice Golem, which we usually see to slow down. But I guess because the Overgrowth spell had just been up for so long, they were able to sneak all the way across that base from the very exterior and punch into the core to help out with some more DPS at the end. Manic is going to be starting off next with another queen out the top side of this base. The corner shot there from the giant arrow cutting right through the center as well and taking out a sweeper. Great aim there, and he's going to be raging in with Mass Drags and an early Eternal Tome to pop in as well. Manic is not going to be wasting any time for Vista Ridge as he seeks another 3-star to follow up.
Well, unfortunately, they don't have time to waste as momentum shifters have been really quick. One interesting play we haven't really seen yet, we have the King with the Angry Jelly on it. That Angry Jelly is going to allow the King to target only defenses for the first few seconds he's deployed. These dragons are working through the top side. Keep an eye on this Queen. She's under a lot of fire with the archers kind of holding her up there. I think she's going to be fine with the Royal Champion coming in with the assist. Now the dragon's got to push through this core. That core is heavy. King goes ahead and goes to ability. This one's fading a little bit. I got concerns here, Woody. The Royal Champion will still be fine in the core, but he took a lot of damage.
Yeah, King starting from that right side over there was able to take out a few defenses early on and make sure that this was a well-shaped base for Manic to be able to clean up. It does look like it's going to be a 3-star perhaps, but it's going to be a close one here. Pops off that Royal Champion ability, and with the free spell, that is going to be enough to finish things off, or it ought to be, unless there's some incredible traps on the bottom here.
Well,
the Royal Champion is a very strong...
The Queen almost popped that Royal Champion. That was my concern. Luckily, the Royal Champion with the haste was able to go through and take out the Queen. I mean, one shot from the Queen and that Royal Champion is down, and then it would have been all up to the Hogs. So it is going to be a 3-star, a little bit slower on the pace. They are still looking for that first mistake from momentum shifters. Ooh, sorry, Woody, that one had me a little bit on edge. Didn't mean to cut you off there, bud. But that Queen, if she got one shot on that Royal Champion, could have cost the 3-star there.
Hey man, excitement always takes precedence over whatever analysis I can try to offer here. Manic does give us the triple that we were looking for, but you're right, it was a bit by the skin of his teeth there. Vista Ridge just seemed to be kind of eking by on their attacks, and even though they've had some pretty strong hits, they're still behind on time, behind on percentage, and behind on stars. This is their last chance to try to hold off the massive overwhelming tsunami that the momentum shifters have brought to this war. Skin is going to be the last attacker now for this army. If he gets a triple at any pace whatsoever, it is going to be a perfect win for them. And charging in now with more Root Riders, he's got a very solid shot at pulling it off. Let's see how it goes, Bash.
Yeah, I like the choice of army here. Pretty safe play. But even if Vista Ridge does somehow force the miss, they are still down 17 seconds on average. So they would need a huge miss here from Zeke. And now it's going to be tough as momentum shifters have been on fire. I love the Root Rider play here. It is a very safe play on these bases. It seems like these pro players kind of understand how to go at these anti-2-star bases. Now, they are anti-2-star bases for a reason. All it takes is one little mistake, and you can force your opponent into a 2-star situation, and maybe even a 1-star situation with everything circling back. Keep an eye on this World Champion. She cuts back across the base to take out these Ice Golems out of the Clan Castle. Roots are up top. They're fine with the Warden, but everything's going to have to meet kind of near that Elixir storage and Monolith there and circle back for the Town Hall.
A 2-star 95% is sufficient for victory here. If they can surpass what Pikachu put up, they will be in the clear. Monolith at the top is going to be the last big primary defense to try to shut down these Root Riders, but it is not really going to be enough as a P.E.K.K.A is going to be able to smash through the center. The 1-star, 2,
Nice.
3, triple! A perfect war from the momentum shifters, and they will score victory over Vista Ridge.
A very nice attack, actually the second fastest attack for this squad at 1 minute and 17 seconds. Their slowest attack was 1:27 during this war. That's what you want to see. Everyone kind of on the same page here. Set that tone early with the 57-second attack, and the momentum shifters just led this war with momentum the whole time. Eric's going to kind of try to build some momentum into Vista Ridge's next war, which unfortunately will be an elimination matchup in the lower bracket. So you want to try to build off this final few attacks. They had that miss early, and then everything's been kind of fine from there. We did have a couple close calls, but I think Vista Ridge, they've kind of shown us they can hang in here. It's just they got to clean up that little early mistake there.
Eric is the second strongest attacker on this lineup after Electro, so definitely want to see him score another triple here, so that even if they go down to, as they go down to the lower bracket, they still will have a solid head on their shoulders and that confidence to be able to continue fighting in this qualifier. It's going to be a lot of gobs slowing things down coming out the CC there, and looks like a headhunter mixed in with a bunch as well, as an Ice Golem is going to slowly but surely come on out to try to slow this initial attack out the top left side. It's going to be King taking a lot of damage early on here as he gets a Phoenix to pop him back up. But it looks like the Root Riders still along the bottom side are crushing the defenses that we've seen so far. How much damage are they going to need to get out of this core, though? Without an Overgrowth spell to shut it down, they're going to really need to go fast here, Bash.
But the Queen does get lucky that Root Rider opens up the Town Hall, so the Queen will actually be able to surge in for the Town Hall. I was worried about that as well. I thought all the Root Riders are going to keep going towards the south of the space, and nothing was going to go towards the core, and with no Overgrowth, it could have been close. That King did get taken out early and went to Phoenix, so it would have been a little bit of a tall task to come back through here without the Overgrowth, but luckily that Root Rider does open the wall, so the Queen can surge in here, take out the Town Hall. She's still got ability, so really no issues now. It was a little bit worrisome there for a minute, but ultimately, this is just kind of that last attack that you just throw up against the wall, even though the war is over here, as Eric will get us a 3-star to secure, well, I guess secure a 14 for them, which is still impressive, don't get me wrong, but in the current meta so far, you have to have 15 stars to win most of these wars, unfortunately.
True facts. Behind on a star, behind on percentage now, and behind on time as well. Vista Ridge put up a very solid effort, but it really was a clear and convincing victory for the momentum shifters. They'll be going up against Tribe Gaming next, as Vista Ridge wait down in the lower bracket for their next opponent. Take a look now at the post-attack stats for Eric, pulling in a 1 minute and 46-second hit. Things went a little bit wacky there with the Archer Queen in the core, as even the healer puppets that popped out were going to die pretty quickly to the poisons from that Town Hall. Still, the 3-star is secured, and it's going to be just a slight miss now against the momentum shifters. Yeah, and we'll be hopping into the next war pretty soon, Bash.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. It was a tough one. We talked about this one could be a coin flip. But ultimately, like, momentum shifters felt like they were in control the whole time. If we take a look at the average time for all the attackers, momentum shifters were all a minute 30, minute 20, minute 17 there. So they're all really good. And then like Vista Ridge, like their fastest attack was a minute 19. That was kind of like middle of the pack for momentum shifter. So Vista Ridge kind of has to step it up in that elimination match later on if they're looking to stay alive and keep that golden ticket chance hopeful for them.
This is something that we've seen before in monthly qualifiers where teams have like an incredible run through an initial ladder and then into the bracket. And then, you know, whenever you get on the main screen, whenever it really comes down to it in an extremely important battle, even just one player flubbing early on, as we saw in the attack from Pikachu, can really cause the whole team to kind of get shaken and rattled. They knew at that point that they weren't fighting for time. So you see kind of a change in their overall demeanor, shifting instead toward just trying to get those safe, solid 3 stars. They were able to pull it off from there on, but Vista Ridge are going to have to go back to the drawing board now from the lower bracket to try to charge up through the top. This is not a comfortable position for them to be in, but they've got a lot riding on this next match, and they have got a lot of heroes to draw inspiration from as they try to get back into this qualifier from the bottom side. But, you know, they're with good company as well. We also saw another really excellent team take a loss early on. Dizzy x Cenizos is, you know, punching their ticket toward the top, as Pulse Gaming are going to have to try to fight through as well on the bottom side. So excellent lineup of 6 teams so far this month, and Vista Ridge just needing to do a little bit more work if they want to keep their head above water in round 1 of the lower bracket.
If you're Vista Ridge, you just kind of got to regroup, kind of get the guys together, get on voice, and just get those plans a little bit solidified. It felt like, I don't know, to me, their plans were just a little bit sketchy on some of these. I mean, obviously the 2 stars sketchy, but some of those 3 stars were even a lot closer than they should have been. The time was a lot slower. So if you're Vista Ridge, just regroup a little bit, take this downtime, get your game plan ready for the next war. As we take a look at the average times here, even those 3 stars that they had, they were pretty slow compared to the momentum shifters. If you're momentum shifters, keep that momentum up. A 57-second attack to start the war is just absolutely insane. Shout outs to them, a very nice attack, but if you're Vista Ridge, just regroup, get back on the same page, you'll be fine.
All right, that's why we have a double elimination bracket, still an opportunity to come back and make their golden ticket opportunity happen. It's happened before, in fact, when we saw the May qualifier, a clear opportunity there to run all the way from the bottom of the bracket to the very top, and so best of luck to them. But clearly the stronger position is belonging to momentum shifters. All 3 of the candidates for MVP, and I gotta agree with the pick here for Ahmad taking it down. 31% of the vote out there as the MVP, and as the first attacker as well, in even more high pressure scenario to have to pull off such an incredible win.
Yeah, you could really argue anyone on the team there could have been MVP, but I agree. The 57-second attack, it's so fast, man. And when it's the first attack of the war, it kind of, in my opinion, if I'm the opponent, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm like, how do we recover from that? I don't know. Carbon, if someone puts up a 57-second attack on you, how are you feeling?
I am feeling very nervous, and it set the momentum for their team, and they were able to take that and get the victory. So great job to them. We'll be seeing them in the second round, but they will be taking on Tribe Gaming. So that is going to be a very tough opponent. Itsu, what was your thoughts on that match?
Yeah, I felt like already after the Electro Dragon attack, it looked really, really good for the momentum shifters. And then with the 2-star after that, that was like a double punch, to be honest. Like, not only not missing out on the 3-star, but as well the other team already setting up like the fastest attack which we have seen so far on this weekend. I mean, yes, so far only 2 matches, but still the fastest attack of the day so far. And I think it was just not impossible, like not really possible to recover from that. And momentum shifters were able to make sure that they're keeping their momentum. I think there will be many more bad jokes about that in the future over the broadcast. But take a look at the bracket now next, as we have our next match on the horizon with Medicine MG versus Dizzy, and Tribe Gaming now versus Momentum Shifters. And I think both of those matches, based off the first matches we have seen, should be incredible matches to watch.
Right, you are, Itsu. These teams are competing to gain a golden ticket and join Synchronic and VM Legacy as Worlds qualified teams. There will be one more handed out this month, as we will continue in the upper bracket next and get another opportunity to see some new teams. Milliceme MG and Tribe Gaming have been waiting in round 2. They were the top 2 seeded teams out of the monthly qualifier, having gone undefeated in the upper bracket and earning that stronger spot. We'll take a look at the caster predictions now, and I am sad to say that I am at the very bottom of it this time. But I like to come from behind and make that return strike, sweeping back 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just watch it happen. We've all picked Milliceme MG in the next round, so probably not going to be too much of a surprise about caster predictions for the remainder. But it's the first unanimous pick that we have here, Bash. No one is taking poor Dizzy, even with their upset win. Dizzy x Cenizos could not get Carbon Fin's selection for this prediction.
Yeah, even though we haven't seen MMG yet, we all know how good that team is. And Dizzy kind of had to win it on that last attack. They had to go super, super quick. I mean, if you're Milliceme MG, like, are you feeling a little bit nervous that Woody picked you at this point? That's the question. Is the Woody curse real today?
Well, we'll have to put that to the test, as again, we are all taking Milliceme MG. They are such a good team, very strong. They were in last month's qualifiers, and they are looking to rebound from it. They were trying to push their way to get the gold ticket, but unfortunately, they fell short, and they are on the hunt. They are looking to try to earn that golden ticket, get a spot in the Clash of Clans World Championship, because there's only one more golden ticket given away through a qualifier event next month in July. And then after that, it's the last chance qualifiers, and that is it. Not many spots, only 6 total in this year's event. So good luck, as this and a lot of pressure is now on the line here, Itsu.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, last month, we had a similar situation where we all picked Milliceme, and they dropped to the lower bracket. Then we decided to all pick Milliceme again, and they were the first team to be eliminated, even though they came into the double elimination bracket as one of the top 2 seeded teams. So, well, let's just hope that this is not a bad sign for them. But taking a look at their stats, I think they are ready to go into this match, especially Temper with the sunglasses. I love that.
I feel like every single month, it's like, oh, this is Milliceme's month. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. They're going to make it all the way to the top. They've qualified for both April and May and June, but as you mentioned, they've dropped down to the lower bracket and lost both of their wars on the monthly qualifiers when it came to performing on the camera. It's kind of mysterious how this team can do so well in the open qualifier, marching through the monthly qualifier with hardly any resistance as an undefeated team, and then running up against so much trouble when it comes to being on the main stage. And that's not something that they're afraid of. It's not something that they're surprised by. All 5 of the players on this team have competed at a Clash of Clans World Championship, in some cases taking second, even third place. This is not an inexperienced team. I think that they are clearly the favorites, but they just haven't found that like mojo. Their like formula has not been put together yet. Maybe this is their month. It very well could be. Bash, what do you think?
I'm saying it. This is their month, Woody. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I agree with you. I mean, it's a very well-experienced team. If you're a viewer, if you're a caster, like, you have to like them. On paper, there are solid teams. So much experience there, with 3 of the French players just playing together for so long, and then you add in like Temper and Hawk. Like, it's just such a good team. It's just, when it comes down to getting that qualifier, man, it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, we saw it in the first war here with Dizzy. They were able to come in with that last attack and kind of steal that war. So anything can happen here. I think they're definitely the favorites, but Dizzy's looking to play upset yet again here.
They are looking to try to pull an upset, but we're getting ready for match number 3 here today. So we're going to say goodbye to Itsu and Bash. We'll see you guys a little later for the next match to come. But now it's time. Woody, are you ready to see who's going to be able to advance? Will our jinxing power cause anything against Millis Team MG as they are trying to push their way through an upper bracket. They came in with the first round bye, and the pressure is now on.
Millis Team's got everything in their favor for this month. They are not only advancing in the upper bracket to round 2, they're also going to get to defend first. They're a team that has combined individual winnings that is approaching $200,000 and really want to push that number even higher with a performance today and throughout the rest of the year. This could be the super group that Millis Team MG has finally been waiting for, looking for that right month to strike and make it toward the top. They're going to be holding off against an attack next from Momen of Dizzy X Cenizos. Coming hot off a win already today, Dizzy X Cenizos certainly has got to have a lot of endorphins. They're going to be pumped. They're going to be excited. They're going to be energized. Maybe caffeinated, who knows? They've got a lot of excitement for this war, though, and we'll just have to see if that can carry them on to victory.
Well, we'll see if this king does path his way back into the base as the queen helps establish that funnel. As the king ability goes off, the jump spell is going to give king access to the defensive rage spell tower, the Tesla, the multi-archer tower, as he does lure out the triple ice golem CC and still holding off on that overgrowth spell.
Marching into the core with a jump spell, the king is going to be able to stab into another compartment here, but doesn't get easy access to that monolith. That's going to be a free spell out for a moment to shut that down, and with an overgrowth as well to keep up the pressure on the top side. I think he might have been hoping that that king would be able to take down the monolith, but it's just getting so much of a slowdown factor with a battle builder trying to repair it up. It's going to require support from the queen as well to finish it off. King is going to wither away here, and with the overgrowth spell about halfway through, we still have a little bit of time left for these Root Riders up top to try to get some more damage done, Carbon.
Yeah, they're continuing around. Now he can target the Town Hall, invest a rage, a freeze, to push his way directly right on through here. And the beautiful thing of taking out the Town Hall last is because now you don't have to worry about that Town Hall explosion and poison as you just move right on by. And it is a 3-star. Great job there, helping to establish the tone of this match. And they are continuing their 3-star streak as they got a perfect war in their last match with a minute 22 triple here.
6 for 6 so far. Dizzy X Cenizos does not find any stumbling blocks in the first base setup by Millis Team MG, a team that's really, I think, more known for their offensive creativity than necessarily being able to be the best defensive strikers on the market. But let's take a look next at Tryhard, who's going to be the first to hit now. We'll see if he has got what it takes to keep his team toe-to-toe. We asked Tryhard who he considers a rival out there in the Clash of Clans esports world. And he said himself, he's just the sort of guy who always wants to try to one-up his own performance and make an improvement upon how he's done in the past. He's a player that has maybe more Clash experience than any other out there. As a competitor in the first ever Clash of Clans World Championship in 2019, he came in second place when he was fighting for MCES. Also fought in World Championship qualifiers in 2020, 2021, 2022, and is back now in 2024 to try to get that qual secured.
And it's so impressive how these players and teams can be so consistent of continuing to make it back. They just prove how good they are and just how smart they are of designing bases, designing attack strategies that we all personally will be copying to bring to our attacks in our matches, as he's continuing to push these Root Riders Valk straight through the core, while that queen with her ability, the healer puppets looking to heal her back up. But no, he does have a few rages. Will he invest it on the queen as she continues her charge into that multi-arch tower?
Overgrowth is down in the core, and it's going to be the loop around the bottom side of the base. It's going a little bit slower this time. Tryhard's going to be speeding them up as best he can with a little bit of a rage spell down there. He's using an Apprentice Warden also to beef up the damage, paired right alongside the Grand Warden. That's a great way to get your troops on target. But the Root Riders are just looping around the very exterior of the base, going a little bit slow and giving Tryhard a little bit of some difficulty here now. We're also going to get some Skelly Trap popping up out of the core to try to slow things down for the Archer Queen. She's popping around, but does take down the Town Hall, and that is going to be a 3-star secured in just about a minute and 19. Solid strike from Try Hard. It's going to come in at a minute 18, actually, which is 4 seconds quicker than their opponents. Millesime start out with a 4-second lead.
Great attack there from Try Hard to establish the tone here, getting that minute 18-second triple there. They got just a few seconds in the lead here, as now we're going to see if Dizzy can continue their triple streak from that last match. They did start off with that triple for their very first attack. Beautiful job, as we're going to be seeing a lot of Root Riders. This is the plan that is coming in across the board. And again, Root Riders, Valkyries, and a handful of those Super Barbarians. It's all about taking out those right buildings to help establish the funnel to push that king in. They're really starting to use that jump spell. We've been seeing it quite a bit for the king, and looks like he can try to pair that jump for the king to help grab not only the eagle, but also the monolith.
Alex LC is a solitary man. We asked him what team he's looking forward to playing against, and he said none. We said, who is your big rival in Clash of Clans? He said, no one. He said, what was your favorite Clash of Clans World Championship moment? He said, none. Yet. He is looking to make a name for himself and be the center of attention as he charges into this left corner now with those Root Riders, carving out a big chunk of base and keeping them all safe with that Warden's Eternal Tome. At the same time, the Royal Champion's marching through the top side, able to take down a few defenses and finding her way onto the Eagle Artillery next. Spirit Fox keeps her safe and out of the fire from this monolith, and we'll be able to take her down. Actually, hold on. She's going to have to retarget onto the enemy hero and get some support from the Archer Queen up top before she can finish her job up there, Carbon.
Yeah, her ability was forced as he's pathing around this base. Now going to be going for regular buildings because the overgrowth was still there. Invest the freeze, and now collapsing all the troops back into the core. They're giving thumbs up. They like it, and it is a 3-star. Here coming in for Dizzy. Well done. What an attack, and continuing that triple streak.
Carving up that base and serving it for dinner. That is going to be a 1 minute and 20-second strike, if I'm not wrong, and that'll keep the average time pretty close here to Millesime MG. Not going to be able to pull ahead, but certainly nothing to be worried about in the first 2 rounds of attacks. Yep, we're going to be having a 1 minute and 20-second attack there, which brings their overall average time to 1:21. Super tight between Millesime and Cenizos, but still a little bit of a time advantage for Millesime. Need to keep their heads on straight, though, and make sure that they don't have any upsets or confusions. That's not what I'd expect to see from our next attacker, though. Nachoa is a very solid striker. He was a competitor in the Clash of Clans World Championship 2022 when his team got 3rd place overall as a competitor with MS Esports. They lost out to the world champion Queen Walkers, so they are really a high caliber squad, and Nachoa was a solid pick from Millesime MG. Let's see if he holds on to that position as a good pick, taking a big chunk out of the core of the base with that giant arrow, and also taking the jelly for the king here. It's going to allow him to target onto defenses early on. An unusual pick, but we saw it also earlier in the previous war, and we'll get to see how this king does in the very core of the base early on now.
Oh man, what an angry jelly on that king. I love the use of the arrow. One earthquake, sniped both of the poison spell towers, and look at that. The king just passed his way directly into the core. Town Hall went down, and now he's just continuing his way up to the top. Invest that rage onto the queen to help take out not only the multi-arch tower, but she can step right into the scatter shot and get that value.
A glorious king dive right for the center, and that really took out a massive chunk of this base. Nacho is like almost guaranteed to get a 3-star right now. I'd say it more confidently than almost any other attack we've ever seen. With Root Riders and Hog Riders aplenty hopping over and crushing walls, they're going to be finishing off this base quicker than any other attack so far yet this war, with the last building standing falling. It's going to be a 1 minute and 15-second attack for Nachoa, pulling an even quicker average time for Millesime MG, lowered still to 1 minute and 16 seconds, and setting a very high bar for Dizzy X Cenizos to try to pull off with the next stage of this war. Look at the confidence from Nacho. I love that photo. He's just like staring you down. I would not want to have to go up against that base, but that's going to be what Xiao Tan has next in store for him.
And that's the beautiful thing about when these teams compete in person in the World Championship. They can see each other from across the stage, and there's no other feeling that you get. It's just amazing when you see them. They get so animated, they get so hyped, and there's a lot of rivalry going in against these teams. When they triple each other, they are taking their bases down. Oh, they get pumped, and it's amazing to see, and that's what these teams are fighting for, to try to earn that golden ticket to be able to compete in person in the Clash of Clans World Championship later this year, as we are seeing now. If he can charge right on through with the king to the left, World Champion behind a golem, okay, taking the ground expo, while the queen comes from the top side, siege barracks from the far right side. Every single corner of this base is now being accounted for.
Yeah, I really like this play a lot. Anytime you can get a big, heavy tank out in front to support a hero charge, that is going to be a lot of good, solid value. The golem is popping, so that is proof that it was soaking a lot of solid damage there for that Royal Champion. Even with the Spirit Box helping her out, she needs to prevent the damage coming in from up top. Overgrowth spell is perfectly timed right as soon as that Grand Warden ability is going to be wearing off, and the core of this base has just been absolutely obliterated. Xiao Tan is going to be looping around on both the top and the bottom side, but more troops along the bottom corner of the space to try to finish off the remaining buildings before this Overgrowth spell wears off. He's almost going to have the entirety of this base finished off just as soon as this Overgrowth wears down, and they're already in the core of the base ready to finish everything off without too much distance left to march. He's holding on to a final freeze that he hasn't even deployed yet, and that is going to be an easy, clean triple for Xiao Tan. The quickest attack so far from Dizzy X Cenizos with a 1 minute and maybe 16-second strike. Still a little bit slower than Milsim MG, but he's bringing that average time down and getting them ever closer to being able to pick up a win here, Carbon.
Yeah, lowering that time, attack after attack. That is the goal. Can they continue that? Because Milsim MG has been delivering the fast, the triples, and they don't look to stop. All it takes is one attacker to make one mistake, and it slows your attack down to 2 minutes, costing you the average attack duration. As these teams are going to be looking to go for the perfect wars. And Temper, oh man, I love this photo. It's perfect. It's amazing. This man is ready to go. I just feel like from this photo, he just has the confidence, he has the experience, and he knows exactly what he's doing. And let's see what he can do with the dragons.
Take a look now. The Swag Masters coming in with style, shades on and ready to march across this base. Teamper is taking his sweet time checking out the range of those defenses. Remember, with the new update, you can actually see what the range of those defenses are just by tapping on them during the first 30 seconds here. It's going to be a quick strike from the bottom right position as a queen is going to get an easy attack into the space, wall breaking into the first section and taking down an enemy hero. The Barbarian King is going to smash the enemy queen as well, and that's a really strong, quick, fast dive to begin this dragon assault. It's going to miss a couple of those dragons with that Eternal Tome popping a little bit late here, but they're not going to be taking too much damage here from the top side. Still, that sort of error can cost him in the late game as he's going to be missing a little bit of DPS for the cleanup, but it's a beautiful strike from both the top and the bottom, and it looks like a 3-star is pretty solid for Teamper here, Carbon.
He does have to worry about this Town Hall, though. The Ice Golems are in an awkward position, and oh, the Town Hall just goes down. Very nice as he continues around with a few dragons, taking out the air defense on the top side. Super Minion finishing off the scatter shot, and great job. Look at that. With just over 60 seconds, a fantastic triple coming in here for Temper. And that is a great attack. And he is not only a part of Milsim MG, he's not only getting fast triples, but he's also, do you remember that competition of being able to triple those bases the quickest in the Holland challenges? Well, he was able to push to many of the top leaderboards as well in those events and the challenges. So he is such a great attacker and player.
Yeah, Teamper was a silver medal recipient in last year's Worlds, fighting with RPG Repotted Gaming taking second place right behind the Clash champs, and he is gonna seek to improve in the only way he can upon last year's performance by taking first place overall. They need to earn a golden ticket first, but with a showing like that, Teamper is leaving little doubt that Millesime MG is a squad that can, dare I say, will get the win.
Well, we'll have to see, as they have 2 more attacks to come in. Both these teams have 2 attacks, as they're both sitting at 9 stars. So we're taking a look at the Root Riders and Valkyries. The jump spell always going to be used for the King in this scenario, as the King is going to go in straight into the right side, utilizing that wall break. The jump will give this King access to the enemy world champion. That Skeleton spell providing a nice distraction as ground skeletons pop up as well, forcing this King ability to splash and take those skeletons away, as the Root Riders are now coming in straight from the top side, as he did lure out the Ice Golem Clan Castle.
Jump spell over there for the King is a nice way to get him all the way into the core, and he will be getting a few swings against the Ice Golems here. Hasn't taken it down yet, and that's kind of a unfortunate but necessary placement there for the poison to try to slow down those Ice Golems and prevent the Queen from getting locked up on them herself. Still, there's an Expo that's just been firing away at her the whole time and clogging up the healing capability for the Unicorn, forcing out the healer puppet ability now. He has dealt with the CC, and it's going to be trying to loop around the bottom side of the space with his Queen to get some more damage done before this overgrowth wears off. He's going to be gunning for that triple, but still has a big single target Inferno over in the left side corner he's got to worry about, and it's got a lock on the world champion. She doesn't have to pop her ability, though, as the Spear Fox is going to make her invisible, and she will be able to survive that encounter, but this is looking like a pretty dicey finish here. I think that he's got it in him, though. Nelson's base is starting to slowly crumble, and as he makes his way toward the finishing line, is it a triple, Carbon?
Well, Town Hall goes down, and it looks like he can overwhelm this Monolith to help take it down, and the Queen is going to be able to move around this base. It is going to be a 3-star, but it's going to be one of the slower 3 stars, and he knows that he had to be a little bit quicker. It's approaching 1:40 here. Yeah, just passing that mark. And unfortunately, it's going to be one of the slowest, if not the slowest attack overall. And with Millesime MG sitting at 1:13 and with their average attack, now Dizzy must hope for a fail for Millesime MG at this point.
Well, with Dizzy getting a skip-over win in the first round with a 15-14 scoreline, they are now in a pretty terrifying spot, having to fight for time against Millesime MG, a squad that itself puts up perfect wars like nobody's business, and even scored a perfect time victory over Vista Ridge in the monthly qualifier. This is a lightning-fast team that does not miss, except in the most extraordinary of circumstances, and certainly not the sort of thing that I'd expect from Kingsman, the next striker, and perhaps the most accomplished member of this team. He was also one of the players who has performed in a World Championship round before. He, let's see. Let me try to count this off. He was in the World Championship qualifier in 2022. He was also in the World Championship last chance qualifier of 21. He made it 2 Worlds in 2022, taking 3rd place with MS Esports. And then last year was in a World Championship qualifier as well, not making it all the way to Worlds, and that is something that he wants to fix for this time around. Kingsman charging all the way deep into the core is wasting no time at all, Carbon.
Yeah, as that Queen is going to continue to charge from the far left. The overgrowth on that Town Hall, making it so he's going to have the path back towards it. Granted, all the Root Riders, they're already on the far right side there, so they're making their way towards the middle of the space, as the RC's ability has already been utilized. 2 freezes and a raise, so he's keeping that Queen alive, which is clutch here, as super minions clear the Ice Golems so they don't slow down the main push of the Root Riders.
Holy Toledo, Batman still holding on to 2 more spells. He's looking like a swag man now, dropping him in the core of the base and pumping his fist. He doesn't even care about what happens next because he knows those troops have already got this on lock. A 1 minute and 8 second strike from Kingsman scores the triple and keeps Milliceme MG far ahead in the lead, making it virtually impossible for Cenizos to be able to come back on time. It would have to be an incredibly slow strike out of the last gate for Milliceme MG to fall behind at this point. It looks a whole lot like Cenizos have got to rely on the defense in the last round of combat. Kingsman is a champion to be sure, and he is looking to cement that position with another clever hit in this last strike, Carbon.
The captain of Milliceme MG delivering the 3-star. They are looking fantastic. They are in a great position to try to advance, and all they need to do is look to triple their final attack. But Melly here of Dizzy, he was the clutch attacker from the last match, where he got a fast triple to tie that match up with a perfect and win on time. So here they go to get that perfect war and put the pressure onto Milliceme to have to triple in order to win. As again, the Root Riders and Valks and a handful of the Super Barbarians are going to be utilized. And the jump spell, where is he going to want to pair that jump with the King? We have the Eagle toward the top side, the multi-target Inferno's over there, while the Monolith and a Clan Castle in the complete far left side. So it looks like that King is going to go straight into the defensive Queen and then jump his way into the scattershot section.
Yeah, looks like that's going to be the aim of this attack here. Melly is the freshman on this team, when most players in the competitive scene have been playing for 10, maybe even 11 years. Melly actually started playing in 2018, so he's got a fresh mind to bring to this war, having competed since the beginning of the World Championship era of Clash of Clans. He's seen it all go down, and he wants to once again be one of the top performers that can make his name known here in the scene. Dizzy X Cenizos needs a clear and confident 3-star strike to finish this off. They still do have a slight possibility of being able to win on time if there's a quick strike here and then they get a really slow defense, but it is probably going to have to be a 2-star defense for them next. So Millie knows that he really just needs to focus on a solid 3-star strike. Root Riders moving into the core of this base with the wearing away of that overgrowth spell are sadly going to be slowed down quite a bit from skeleton traps. Still have a scatter shot in the core, and Freeze is going to miss the town hall, Carbon.
Yeah, that's going to hurt there, unfortunately, but the Royal Champion cleared a ton of the base there as the Queen can help try to secure this town hall, and she's working through it. She's working through it. She's working through it.
I don't know, Carbon. This is a 1-star.
No!
Oh my goodness. Nelly just has fallen apart. The first 1-star that we've seen all day on a 98% strike is not going to be enough for Dizzy X Cenizos. They are dropping like a rock. And basically any hit at all now from Milliceme MG is going to be able to secure victory. But that's the sort of risk that you take when you try to push for a really quick strike. You often have to throw it all on the line, drop your spells in maybe not the most robust way, seeking efficiency instead. Going for time rather than trying to protect your troops has its disadvantages. And that's just one of the biggest disadvantages that you can possibly expect to go up against, resulting in a 1-star finish, Carbon.
Yeah, 1-star in percentage will be enough for Milliceme, but you can just get a 2-star, guarantee it that way as well. But of course, they want to put up that triple. The stars and percentage don't stack over, so it's not like it's a combination of however many stars overall the whole tournament. No, you focus on the specific match you are currently competing in. As we're seeing now, Hawk coming in with the Root Riders and a double overgrowth selection here. No jump, because it looks like this King could just casually push his way right into the Eagle all the way up this base, and he doesn't need that jump to get into the core.
Hawk has got friends on VM Legacy and really was a big fan of VN Esporting's run toward the top. A lot of support in the COC community and knows exactly what he needs to do now as he's marching quickly into the core. Gets a late CC pull here now as Ice Golems are going to be slowing down this big Root Rider push right in the depths of the base. And kind of unfortunate timing with this Rage as well. He's going to be missing out on some of the support that Rage could have offered with the CC kind of slowly chipping away at the time here. But Hawk just knows the 2-star is all he needs. With 1 already secured on percentage, they should be able to collapse in against... Oh no, it's going to be the Overgrowth spell again to shut down that Town Hall. Hawk's going for the triple here, Carbon.
He is going all out for that 3-star as that Queen ability was forced, has the healers onto her, finds that bunch of giant bombs to the top side, and now he's just got to wait for that Overgrowth to disappear. He can relax. He literally can't do anything. He's just waiting and waiting and waiting. How's your guys' day? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Finally, here we go. All right.
And Hawk is going to get that triple.
Overgrowth spell S tier for offense, maybe B tier as a spectator, just kind of waiting for it to wear off and finish this thing off. But Hawk does secure the 3-star for Millicene MG. And the unanimous caster pick has gone through. Finally, this time around, I don't pick the wrong squad. Millicene, as the #1 seeded team, will remain at the very top of this bracket, advancing in the upper side. And we'll get a chance to see if Tribe can do the very same in the next match coming up. But it was a tough showing for Dizzy X Cenizos, knowing that they needed to not only go for time, but also to try to cross their fingers on defense. Not a good position when you have to hope and pray against a team like Millicene MG, which rarely miss, and this time will not be falling down to the lower bracket in their first round through. They are going toward the top and will be in the top 4 performers of this month and perhaps be grabbing that ticket. Let's take another look at that last strike from Moment, Carbon.
Yeah, that one thing to keep in mind for Dizzy is, they had a 1-star, but even if they tripled, they still would not have won because Millicene MG came in with a final triple and was quick, meaning that no matter what, even with a perfect war, they would have lost on time. So he could take that, and that's definitely a huge relief. You're not in the back of your mind being like, oh, I just cost my team a victory. I just cost my team a chance of trying to stay in the upper bracket. Nope, that's not the case. It was a team effort. And that is unfortunately how they did lose, was the average attack duration in the end. Yeah, there was a 1-star, but even if it was a triple, it still would not have been enough.
And of course, it is a team effort, but we really do love to highlight the individual performances of these players. We'll be soon coming up with an MVP pick for you, likely from the winning team, Millicene MG. Would really love to hear in the chat now who you want to see take that MVP win, who you were rooting for, who your favorite player is on this squad. They've all got impressive stories leading up to this June monthly finals competition, and each one of them has got a fire in their belly trying to get that golden ticket. There's only going to be a few more opportunities now as we are going through June. We'll have July and then the last chance qualifier before our China mainland competition has one more opportunity to award a golden ticket to a team out there. So as we look now at the match results and see the time spent by each player on their attacks, it was Kingsman and Teamper tied for the quickest hits by Millicene MG, Carbon.
Very quick, by 1 minute 8 seconds each. Very nice. I can't get enough of the photo there. I love it. I need to find myself some glasses like that, and just. The
glasses got it!
Look at that, the MVP. Both of them right there at 25%, but Teeper just getting the edge right there as he is the MVP of this match. And such a great performance by them, getting that perfect war, and they are looking to see who they will face from the next match, which will be Momentum Shifters and Tribe Gaming.
The future is so bright, he's got to wear shades. Teamper is not only on the winning team, he is your most valuable player from this last round. Honorable mention to Kingsman, only 1% behind, but he didn't wear sunglasses in his photo. Bash, what do you make of that last war?
That was a great war. I mean, that's what we wanted to see from them, right? We wanted to see them go quick. We wanted to see them get the 3 stars. I mean, a 1-star mistake is crazy, man, but that's the risk of saving the Town Hall for last. I think Carbon's been speaking about it all day, and we saw it unfortunately pan out there with the first 1-star of our tournament here. Well, of our qualifier, I should say.
Indeed, it was just an unfortunate thing to happen, but it can indeed. But Itsu, what was your thoughts on that match there?
I mean, Millicim this time really showed up to what we expected, and I'm happy that they were able to like push themselves to the next level in the upper bracket, because I felt like the last couple of qualifiers they have made it so far but were not able to show up. So it seems like that it's going in their way better, and things work out for them, and they have not this 1 or 2 attacks which are not in their standard, because we know they're just so good and they can get those 3 stars non-stop in. It's now up to them to really deliver that and show that in this qualifier, and they have a really good shot at making it then all the way, Woody.
Yeah, Millicim MG is a really interesting team that kind of, I think, is maybe disfavored a little bit in this metagame. They are a team that can perform incredibly well with some extremely creative attacks. But this metagame right now, with so many high hit rates, is super favored for teams that perform consistently. And although Millicim is certainly one of the best in the world, I don't know if that is the exact adjective that I would use to describe them. Still, you only need consistency through 3 wars when you start at the very top of the upper bracket. So with a win already on their side, they just need to pick up 2 more, and they'll have a golden ticket, Bash.
Yeah, I mean, easier said than done, as we've seen. All it takes is a few seconds. I mean, with the last couple wars, obviously, we've had a couple misses. But that first war, Dizzy Luli came back on the last attack of the war to steal that one away. So anything can happen here. We still have a lot of Clash Clans to be played this weekend, so I'm really interested to see if you're Millicim, like, you're feeling good, obviously, but you have to look forward to the winner of this matchup, which is going to be a tough one.
Ooh, this is a match that you do not want to miss here, as it looks like a lot of us are taking Tribe, as they did get a first round bye, so they've been waiting. They haven't played yet, and this is actually now they're looking to try to compete in the first monthly qualifiers, because they haven't made the previous ones. And Itsu, you're the only one to take momentum shifters. What was your thought process there?
I mean, on the first day, I'm just going based off stats. And yes, even though Tribe has the better average destruction, I mean, in the end, what is more important is stars. And this is where momentum shifters are in the lead. So this is why I picked them, because I feel like, as I said earlier, in the end, we don't really know how those teams are showing up on this weekend. And this is why I like stats. It's easy to rely on them, and it's easy to predict with having the stats and in the bag. And Drop on the other side, though, not a team to underestimate whatsoever, especially Curious with a 100% hit rate. I think overall we have only 3 players left in this competition, which are like completely perfect, and he's one of them. So he's having to make sure that his team can perform with him, and I think then their chances are looking really good, Woody.
Well, I think the stats that are shown here do not tell the whole story. There's so much more to Tribe that gives them, I think, a clear and confident upper hand here. They are, I think, the most consistent team in Clash of Clans esports right now. And for that to be said, when I just said that consistency is one of the most important things to have in this metagame, I think that they are definitely going to be the team that is favored to take the win here. They were number 3 in the open qualifier leaderboard this month. So even when they're not really trying super hard, they're still coming in at the very upper echelon of performance. They also defeated Dizzy X Cenizos 13-13 in the monthly qualifier. So not necessarily the highest hit rates. They had a little bit of a, a miss here and there, but there's still an undefeated squad that came through the upper bracket, and they know that they can learn from their mistakes, regroup, and get back in the action. Tribe is a team that has picked up plenty of top performances in world championship events before, and I think I'd actually be pretty surprised if they don't get a golden ticket at some point this year. There's a very good opportunity for them to get it this month. Even though Millicim MG still sits on the other side of the bracket, I don't think Momentum Shifters is going to be the squad that takes them down, Bash.
Yeah, I know I went Tribe here, but I think this match is going to be a lot closer than we think. just based on what we saw from Momentum Shifters. They have all the momentum. I don't think we can have enough momentum puns, but I mean, it's very true right now. Their attacks were very fast in that first war. Tribe is coming in, I don't want to say cold, but they haven't played yet today. So they could kind of come in and just like maybe pull that upset. And I think that would be a big shock if Momentum Shifters were able to pull one over here and get the win over Tribe.
Well, we're going to see as we're getting ready for this epic match. So myself and Woody will be taking a seat for this one. So best of luck to Itsu and Bash. Take it away.
Yeah, we're getting ready here with our next match. Wow, my voice already dying here, but we're getting ready here with the next match with, you said it right, a really big one. And I think as well, way closer than maybe the names would let you think, because Tribe Gaming within Clash of Clans is a huge name. Everyone knows that team for sure. Momentum Shifters just formed recently with their team. And, well, they have another chance to prove themselves after a really strong first match in this upper bracket match now versus Tribe. And they're starting things off versus Rekiris now on the defensive side.
Yeah, this should be really interesting to see. Can Ahmed come out and put out a really quick 3-star? He had that, 57-second 3-star in their first war against Vista Ridge. If he's able to put up an attack anywhere close to that, it puts that early pressure on the Tribe Gaming. So kind of putting your best foot forward here against one of the stronger attackers for Tribe in Rekiris. So this one should be really interesting as we're waiting on the action to get started here, guys. Man, I'm excited for this war, Itsu. This one should be really close. I know I went Tribe, but I still think this one could be coin flip. I'm still definitely leaning into Tribe, but Momentum Shifters could shift that momentum.
Yeah, that's for sure. As we're having the first attack with a ton of different dragons. There is an Alex dragon in the mix, an Inferno dragon, baby dragon, regular dragons, all type of different dragons, and that giant arrow getting already the first couple of defenses out, making sure the pathing is set. And there goes that blimp. This one has to make it all the way though. We have talked to some pros already. Those type of attacks you're defending in the best way with the tornado trap. And there is that tornado trap we have talked about. The freezes are coming in. Oof. He has to protect the loons, but the red mines out there, and that's exactly what you have to do if you want to defend this type of attacks. And the tunnel now is a complete island. The dragons might not even go there that way.
Yeah, they're going to go right, they're going to go left, they're going to go all around. No more freezes as well. He will still have the Royal Champion. I don't see her on the field yet, so she could come in and maybe grab that Town Hall, but you're in risk of everything just fading out, and it is fading here as all the dragons are getting taken out. The Queen and King, the King is out now. The Queen is going to fight the enemy King. The Phoenix is going to look to take that Town Hall down. Here comes the Royal Champion to secure it, but this one might not have enough firepower to even secure the 3-star.
Yeah, the Town Hall is now going down, but that's a lot of damage now on the Fox and on the Royal Champion. Yes, he has that ability still left, spawning and generating those Hog Riders versus the merged cannon, but those Hog Riders are going down with the defending giant bombs on the back end, and there is still the Royal Champ on the defensive side. And we've talked about it. As things were happening, the best way on defending those dragon type attacks is to bait that blimp with the tornado trap, and Tribe perfectly predicted that angle of an approach with having the setup of the core of the sweepers being nicely targetable with the giant arrow. And that's how you defend, getting that bait right, making sure that you're defending the strategies which are maybe easier to defendable in the current meta.
And I don't know that this even gets through there with a minute left. The Queen's got a lot to fight. She's got to take down that enemy Royal Champion. And you're right, Itsu. And that's what you get from an experienced team like Tribe. They've been around. They've been in the World Championship team forever. I mean, since you were still playing. So they have the experience. They know how to build the bases. They know what the enemy players are going to do because they do their homework. And we saw that come into play here. Almost really forcing a lot more trouble than this 2-star, but it could have almost been a 1-star. But that is a big stop here on defense for the first attack of the war.
Yeah, that's the perfect start for a Tribe into this match. And we know, like from the past as well, that Tribe Gaming typically is a really solid team, not only on offense, but as well they're known for their defense. And I feel that is really showcasing in this attack. Overall, after the attack, it's always easier done, but I feel like he maybe could have been more patient with the Warden ability and delayed that a little bit longer. Because remember, with the equipments you have now on the Warden, it's not only the Eternal Tome, but as well the Healing Tome, where you want to have your dragons take some damage, which then can be healed up again during the Eternal Tome active ability duration. So maybe some mistakes there, who knows? In the end, as I said, it's easier said as a spectator, but we have the next attack on its way, and it's again a dragon attack, this time around from Rikiris, and he's getting that sweeper out of the way already and setting the funnel for his dragons.
Yeah, we just saw Rikiris defend on defense, obviously. Let's see if he can bounce back and get the 3-star. No battle blunt for him. His dragons are all going to go through the core as he uses the Stone Slammer on that left side just to set the pathing. Heroes on the opposite side to push in there, take out the enemy king. There goes that spiky ball, and he's going to surge forward here. Plenty of freezes, plenty of rages, plus he'll have that Warden's Eternal Tome to protect these dragons through the core. Doesn't need those ice golems to clear out of there so the dragons don't get too distracted and frozen, but it looks like that's going fine.
And Rikiris exactly did what I just described. He let the dragons take some damage first and then use the Warden ability to make sure that the first couple of seconds are actually getting used from this Healing Tome aura. And he is so far looking really good with this push, making sure that the core is getting taken care of. He has the Royal Champion with her power, which he can still use on the field. And that should look good as long as the defending king is not being too annoying, and this rage effect is still looking strong in the middle of the space.
Agreed, yeah. The king, actually a brilliant play there to put the poison on the king to slow him up even more. And with the haste valve for the World Championship, go ahead and power through there. And if you're Tribe Gaming, you know you got that defense. You can kind of just almost, not necessarily play it safer, but you know that all you need to do is 3-star out, which we've seen time and time again. So it's not necessarily easy sailing, but it's kind of, you know what you need to do to win this war. 123 is still a great pace for the 3-star, and Tribe is up early.
Yeah, Rikiris making sure that he's keeping his perfect streak in this competition. Still the 100% hit rate. And now it's back to momentum shifters. They have to get that next attack right, making sure that they're showing Tribe, well, we're still in this, we're still here to have the chance of this upset and get somehow back into this match. If you are failing only once, we are here to make sure that, well, this match is not over. We have another dragon attack. We are already aware of dragons being incredibly strong, and after that Root Rider nerf, we're seeing more and more dragons, and by now they might have even surpassed the Root Riders in power. Question now though is, can he get the angle right? And it seems like he's getting that sweeper out, and that's already a big part of this attack.
That's one of the toughest things to do. I don't think people realize getting that angle right for the giant arrow to go through and get the sweeper is massive. But let's keep an eye on this battle blimp. Let's see if this one is baited as he does have the clone down. There's another tornado. A lot of those traps did go off, however. Let's see how he can get this one down. All right, so clone balloons, no problem there. Take down the town hall. Let's see if they can get a little bit more. They almost get the scatter shot, but not quite. Now the dragon's going to work around the outside. Queen's on the bottom side. Good freeze there so that the queen doesn't take too much damage from that bow. Off to a good start here from Imran.
Yeah, this actually looks like a really solid start with the Town Hall going down, but this is something that I have to be aware of moving forward. The tornado trap nearly always, or so far it was always, near the Town Hall. The Queen is struggling as she is going down.
The Queen went down on the bottom side.
Should be no problem.
And Queen's down on the bottom. We got the King with the spiky ball. Royal Champion hits her haste valve with the hogs. Yeah, he's fine here. He's got plenty of firepower. Just that Tesla farm with the skeletons kind of gave the Queen a little bit of issues there, but plenty of firepower. It's going to be a 3-star for the momentum shifters, and that's all they got to do. They got to keep 3-starring. This one's pretty quick also. Minute 15, minute 16 right there for Imran. So they're still alive, but they're going to have to hope for a Tribe mistake at some point.
Yeah, that's the one big thing they have to hope for currently. And on the Tribe side, based on hit rates, we have seen two players, at least in this competition, struggling a little bit. Kronos and Nebrax not having the best hit rates if you compare it to the level of other players within this competition. While Rikiris is there perfect, well, Kronos and Nebrax are not having the best competition so far, and Kronos is actually the next attacker. So I feel like this is going to be a crucial attack now for Tribe Gaming to see if their players who have performed not that well so far can show up and can perform when it matters.
Yeah, it's massive. If you can get through here with Kronos, get Kronos on the board with a triple, you're feeling good. And it's another Dragon attack. 4 Dragon attacks to start this war off. Ooh, Giant Arrow misses that sweeper. Both sweepers pointed towards these dragons, so they're going to have to fight through there. Does have 3 free spells. Warden ability does go off here early as we got Headhunters out of the clan castle. But we'll have to see how those sweepers factor in here as he's fighting both sweepers now.
The one sweeper is getting, kind of like made useless with this overgrowth spell. The second one had to be frozen. The tornado trap did delay things even more. The queen, though, not too much damage on her with the king tanking as well. But it's all about this core. It's all about this town hall, which is going to be reactivated in a couple of seconds from this overgrowth spell.
Ooh, that dragon barely got the sweeper before it got taken out. It did take a Seeking Air Mine. Now the Town Hall is back up, and that core looks devastating as he's going to have to circle in there. Still plenty of spell support, however. 2 freezes and a rage, along with the Royal Champion, who still has that ability as well. And remember, with that haste spell, she'll be able to surge in there. And that Poison Tower thrown right there, that is huge. Plenty of dragons. Kronos should be fine here. It was looking a little bit dicey for a moment, but with the Royal Champion and the dragons, this will be a 3-star and at good pace.
Yeah, really good recovery with that Giant Arrow, not really getting that building out, which was supposed to go down on that core with the sweeper, but making up for it with really great spell placement and timing right there. And that means another 3-star for Tribe, even a fast one, even though I feel like the time is less likely being a factor in this match. And, well, Tribe doing exactly what a lot of people, including you, were expecting them to do. And that is a lot of 3 stars.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that Momentum Shifters started the war with a 2-star. We saw that in the previous war where you start with the 2-star, because if you're Momentum Shifters, you know it's going to be really, really hard to hold Tribe on defense. You kind of hope and cross your fingers and hope they fall into some kind of trap that you laid out. But Leo's going to be up next. The main thing here is they can't obviously make another mistake, but they also have to keep pace with their attacks, because the 2-star, not only was it a 2-star, but it was a very slow attack at 2 minutes 31 seconds. Obviously it would come down to percent if Tribe did miss, but that's something to keep in mind here as Root Riders, for the first time in this war for either squad, are coming in. Giant Arrow goes through the top side. I think he might have wanted to get some damage on that Expo and the multi-Archer Tower, but does miss that, but does get the Archer Tower on the backside. King in the barracks in the bottom, and here come the Roots through the middle.
I feel like it was all about just the pathing setting up with the Giant Arrow, making sure that there's nothing getting distracted the far left side with taking on all of the buildings there, because he has now set up the pathing into the core. The overgrowth spell makes sure that there's not too much damage in that core, and he's able to skip that Town of Explosion and the Town of Poison. But the Barbarian King is still having some problems in this bottom compartment because the Tornado Trap is being there and delaying things quite a bit.
Yeah, King Howland fighting his way through. Super Minions out of that barracks, so they'll be able to assist the King. King does have Phoenix, which will give him 8 seconds of invulnerability there, and then he will get taken down, but the Phoenix will remain. Queen and Royal Champion are working through the top side. Still does have those Super Barbarians that he can collapse in. Eagle Artillery is one of the last defenses. Let's see. Free spell comes in. I was going to say, let's see if we can get some damage from these Super Minions, but the ones that went to the core got absolutely crushed. Queen's making up her mind. Okay, Queen's going to go around here, so he's going to finish on the Town Hall. Still a lot of firepower. Oh, wait. Royal Champion goes in there. She's got it.
Yeah, the Royal Champion moving into the core was clutch for him, getting that 3-star, and that's exactly what they had to get to still hope for a defense, because at this point, it is out of their hands. It's all up to Tribe Gaming and how their performance looks like. Well, then Momentum Shifters have to really, at this point, just 3-star. I feel like even timed is not really a factor anymore, because a tie on stars in percentage is just super unlikely. So just concentrate on the safest possible 3 stars is the most important thing currently for both teams, because Tribe does not want to lose that lead, and at the same time Momentum Shifters does not want to give Tribe an even bigger lead with their attacks on the line as well.
Even if Tribe did miss, their miss would have to be pretty massive, as Achman missed with a 92% which is in these world qualifiers a little bit on the lower side. I know 92%, that is very high, but in these qualifiers that is still considered a little bit low, as we're seeing a lot of 15-15 wars. So you need to force Tribe into some big mistake. You need something just to go absolutely wrong on one of these remaining 3 attacks for them. But with Tribe Gaming, you just don't see that too often. You did talk about the struggles of some of the players, but it seems like when they know what they have to do, it's less likely for them to make any mistakes.
Yeah, that is for sure what we are hoping for them currently. And Exorcist is the next player for Tribe to go into this attack. And we see another Root Rider attack after starting this match with a lot of dragons on the other side. We have the Queen working on the bottom side with the Frozen Arrow, it looks like. Typically, we see a lot of heater puppet equipment, but this time around, he is changing things up at least a little bit, while the Root Riders are pushing into that core.
Root Riders through the middle, Heroes down on the bottom of the base here. We do have one Overgrowth that can be deployed and hold everything up. It kind of seems like he wants the King and Queen to surge in and take out the Town Hall, and that's going to be the case as he goes ahead and Overgrowth's right behind the Town Hall. Root Riders are fading a little bit on the top side. They're still pretty healthy with the healing tome from that Warden healing them back up a little bit. King will go ahead and grab Town Hall, and this is looking like a strong start for Exorcist. I think the Royal Champion was in there. Yeah, she's right there in the middle near the King, so everything is in. He's just got to circle through and then crush the middle.
Yeah, the Overgrowth should wake up somewhat soon. There it is. Now we have the Rage, we have the Royal Champion ability as well. There goes into the freeze to keep that Royal Champion out of the Hog Riders as safe as possible. And take a look at that. There is just so many Root Riders left alive in this attack, and this is going to be a crushing 3-star for Tribe, for Exorcist. That was a really clean attack. Really cool idea with this King dive into the tunnel compartment to make sure that he does not need to worry about that building at all. And he could use the Overgrowth spell in a complete different way in what we're kind of used to in those core Town Hall setup bases.
Yeah, a lot of times they're overgrowthing right on the Town Hall and saving that kind of for the end, but instead uses the King to go ahead and take that out. I love watching Exorcist attack because the animation from him and the excitement, it's just so genuine. I love seeing that. A minute 24 so fast, but you talked about it. We don't really need to worry about the time too much here. Momentum shifters need Tribe to miss at some point, and it's going to be Sean up next for the momentum shifters. If you're momentum shifters, just worry about getting those 3 stars. Don't take any risks. Don't do anything silly here. Get 3 stars on the board and then hope one of the final 2 attackers, Nebrex or Jojo, can somehow miss. I mean, it's just so rare that they're going to miss in this situation, but somehow you want them to miss.
Yeah, and we see now another Root Rider attack, but this time around with the Golem, so he's going to a lot of firepower early on. That will be my expectation with the Root Riders, to have at least some damage taken away, and there we go. Or actually just for a tank for the Archer Queen, that works as well. With those ground expos nearby, he wants to make sure that there is not as much damage on the Queen, and that works completely fine. The Golem is super tanky, making sure that there is as little as possible damage on his heroes.
All right, let's see how this one goes. Root Riders right up the middle. It's gotta be a 3 here. Does hold a couple of Valkyries back. Okay, now they go in. They're gonna all surge into the middle. King's on the top side. They're jumping through. You don't see a ton of jumps, but sometimes you'll see the jumps just used to give the King a little bit more access. Remember, the Root Riders are just gonna destroy walls, so you don't really need too much access. With the King taking up that top compartment, it works out nicely. There goes the Overgrowth. He's got a lot of base remaining, but plenty of troops as well.
Yeah, the Archer Queen ability should be able to push through the defending Queen quite easily, with having then the Root Riders pushing into this core compartment and opening all of those compartments to make sure that other troops have the chance of following up, and maybe his heroes as well, as then the Super Barbarians are cleaning things up on the back end, making sure that attack is even faster, even though we have said it already, time is not that big of a factor anymore.
Yeah. This is what I like watching on this attack, is watching those Super Barbarians come in from the backside, just kind of clean that up so everything can surge to that Town Hall as that Overgrowth finishes off and awakens back up. Now it's going to be a nice little 3-star here from Sean. But man, they gotta cross their fingers. They gotta hope. That the pace on that was pretty good. I think it was like minute 24 or so. So the pacing was fine. It's just, you can't overcome the 2-star miss. It's so unfortunate, but we are hoping for them to miss. A minute 28 on that one. But again, time doesn't matter here. You need a Tribe mistake in their final 2 attacks.
And the question is, do we see one of them? You said it earlier, it is unlikely, but there have 2 attacks left to make sure that they either secure that victory and move on in the upper bracket, or they are giving momentum shifters the option of getting back into this match. And we have Nibrax now attacking next. He was next to Kronos, at least for this specific tournament, the one for Tribe, who has struggled a little bit. The question is, can he be cheered up by his team? This is something which, I mean, we've seen already on stage from Tribe Gaming, that they are really a team-oriented team with cheering up each other, making sure everyone is having a good mood, a good day. And I feel like this is now for sure what is going to help Nibrax to get maybe a 3-star.
They're so good at that also, picking each other up when they're feeling down and making sure everyone's on the same page. And we've heard their comms in previous worlds where they're just, you know, helping each other out, picking each other up, you know. When one of them's feeling down, the team's got their back, cheering for them and cheering the loudest when they do get that 3-star. Nibrax coming in with another dragon attack here. Using a little bit of Yeti to funnel up top along with some baby dragons. I kind of like the pacing on this one, taking his time, not really forcing it, not forcing any mistakes here, and just making sure everything goes the right way here. Now, Queen did not use the giant arrow there, right? No giant arrow, just healer puppet. Here comes the battle blimp, by the way.
Yeah, and he has used the Frozen Arrow instead, which is still like a really good passive ability combined with the healer equipment. But on the other side, we have the Queen now being stuck, finally getting redirected from those dragons. But the core is still looking really dangerous, and the dragons now, because of the Queen getting delayed, all going to the outside, and that is not really optimal because this means the Inferno Towers are staying alive longer.
The Inferno Towers are up there, and you'd like to get the Ricochet cannons down from the dragons, but the heroes don't have to deal with it. Those Ricochet cannons, man, they can be mean, especially when you have the Unicorn there helping the Queen out. One Ricochet cannon does go down, still has one remaining, but these heroes are going to have to surge through. This could be a tough finish. Still does have the World Champion coming from the top side. King and Queen have used their abilities. There's a considerable amount of base. World Champion with that haste spell can be the difference maker.
Ooh, the Queen is finishing, or is about to finish, that artillery, which was huge for him, but I think she should go down really soon. He has to now concentrate on that Royal Champion with those remaining spells, or actually the Queen is surviving because the multi-archer tower is not in range anymore. Royal Champion with her ability and with the phrases, he might be good to go if there's not too many traps.
Yeah, this is close. This is close. I'm worried about it. All right, Hogs are in there. All right, he's fine. I think he's fine here. It was a lot closer than it needed to be, but I think it was more of a safer play here. You talked about Nibrax struggling just a little bit, so kind of going with a safer plan, maybe not taking that risk with the giant arrow, going with that frozen arrow just to sustain that Queen a little bit. You don't need time. All you need is 3 stars, and that's what he gets done there. You saw the excitement. You saw the double fist pump, and it's another 3-star for Tribe Gaming. 1:54, but time does not matter if you go perfect.
That's right, especially if you get that defense from the other team. And, well, momentum shifters, they really have to still 3-star on offense and still have to hope for the last attacker of Tribe. And it's not getting any better with the last attacker of Tribe being Yo-Yo. So won't get any easier, but they have to attack first, and they are going in with the dragon mix again. Dragons, Electro Dragon at the top side for setting up the pathing, and then the Baby Dragon on the other side to funnel, while having then the King and Queen creating some more art. Oh, that thing worked as intended, I guess, with having the giant arrow right through the middle of the base.
I think maybe you might want to get that. It might not be a factor here. Well, dragons are ferociously going through the middle. Easy for me to say there, using big words that I don't need to. There we go. Balloons land on the town hall. So wait a second, they got pushed from the sweeper. Oh my goodness, the last balloon's death damage finally takes that town hall down. That was in danger of being a big mistake. Oh man, does get the town hall down. Now it's up to the dragons and heroes to surge through and finish the base off.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that the Warden has gone to the outside, because even though Moja and Front Towers do not have the biggest burst damage, even over time they would do some damage to those dragons, and not having that eternal healing ability is really painful. Having all of those dragons now slowly dying out in that core, it can be problematic for sure, with having the King and the Queen diving into the left side compartment, the Royal Champion struggling already at the bottom side.
Yeah, that was tough, man. That was super tough. All the heroes did use all the abilities. We do have some skeletons in there, but man, with the 2 scatter shots up there in the middle, I guess the dragon is going to do a little bit of work here. It's going to get in range of that other scatter shot, and the scatter shot's going to switch over to the Queen, so he still might be able to get through here. So ultimately, they might be alive here. Oh, go Queen, go. I don't know, man. It's close. It's close.
Oh no, that scatter shot surviving on the other side is being problematic. I mean, he has still a couple of troops left,
So that's
but the
King.
king obviously going for the wall. I mean, the queen should be able to take down the multi-phone tower. The scatter, that's what it's all about. He could use the barriers, that's what he's doing. Not sure why he's sending with the archer queen, because the multi-phone tower, not sure, not that big of a threat. I feel like the scatter is the most important thing. And I think it should be a 3-star here for momentum shifters. A close one, but hey, a triple is a triple, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's all they need here is they needed some kind of 3-star in any way, and they just need a tribe miss. With the 92%, they need tribe to be 91% or less to win the war and pull off this upset. So another close one there is, man, I there for a long while, I thought that was going to be a 2-star. I think he wanted to get that sweeper that was facing the dragons with the giant arrow and kind of missed it a little bit, and it did almost cost the balloons not getting the town hall, as that last balloon's death damage took the town hall down. Ultimately, it comes down to Yo-Yo coming in with the 5th attack. If he 3-stars, Tribe Gaming moves on, and they will play tomorrow. If they somehow miss, they'll go to that lower bracket, but it's looking more like momentum shifters will be going down to the lower bracket, but it all comes down to this final attack.
Yeah, that's for sure. And he needs more than 92% 2-star, if I remember correctly. And he is going in with those Root Riders. He is having even another healer to make sure that the Archer Queen is going to be having more power on the flank with that Unicorn together. Having that King funneled into that scatter compartment to deal a lot of damage and set up the pathing for those Root Riders.
All right, this is a big attack, a lot on the line, going completely away from the town hall here. Remember, Root Riders did see a little bit of an HP nerf, minus 500 hit points in the most recent update, along with less DPS. But when you're going all the way across the base, those less hit points could be a factor. Remember, Warden with the healing tome will be able to heal them back up and also protect them. Got a couple of electro dragons, ice golems rather, out of the clan castle. World Champion's gonna surge in, take out the enemy queen. It's all gonna come down to this final compartment, which he does have an overgrowth for.
Yeah, making sure that the town hall is not a factor, at least in the moment, as he then has to recycle. The frozen arrow currently on the Archer Queen is a really big game changer, as he's able to push through all of those defenses without any other spell support to make sure that he's still having 2 rages and 2 freezes left for this back end, which is a lot of spells for this one single compartment.
Tons and tons of spells, and Yo-Yo's gonna get the job done. It's gonna be a Tribe Gaming victory against the momentum shifters. Look at that smile, he knows it. Good pace there, not that the pace matters, but it's a perfect war. Tribe Gaming will move on to tomorrow and play in the upper bracket. What a nice war from them, forcing their opponent into that early mistake. You talked about it, Itsu. They kind of baited them into that blimp entry, and it did not work out for Ahmed, and that's what cost momentum shifters the war.
Yeah, I feel like that's then the big question as well moving forward, with now knowing that Tribe has a lot of times with the Tornado Trap near the Town Hall, and the Tornado Trap, we all know it, is the most impactful trap within the game, where you can have those game-changing moments, catching a blimp, for example, or redirecting any troop in the game. And do they change that now? Play some mind games, or do they keep it that way to make sure that dragon attacks are really risky versus their defense, versus their bases, which I felt like so far has worked wonders for them?
Yeah, I think they'll just kind of go back to the scouting report, see what their opponents are using. I think this is the first war where we saw a majority of dragons attacks. We had 6 dragons, 4 Root Riders there. And Tribe was able to kind of read their opponent and play that just perfectly from the open. Now, you're not going to force too many mistakes here in the World Qualifiers, but all it takes is one, as we saw there, and Tribe gets the well-deserved victory. But unfortunately for momentum shifters, that means they will be moving down to our lower bracket and face potential elimination a little bit later today.
Yeah, that's right. We have still some more matches today to be played, and Tribe, though, with this victory, is moving on in the upper bracket, and that means they have no more match today, since we have then the last couple of matches tomorrow and giving away one of those last couple of golden tickets as well, with then deciding who is making to the world's finals stage.
Yeah, man, that was a good war, really good war. If you're Tribe, you got to be feeling good. You came in, you did what you needed to. I mean, if I'm Tribe in that situation with what Momentum Shifters did in the first war, they had to be a little bit nervous about it. I mean, Momentum Shifters played really, really well, but Tribe handled them perfectly. The bases were set up really nicely to counter the dragons. Tribe came in with dragons of their own. They played the Root Riders when they needed to. They played a little bit safer when they needed to. You saw Nebrex's attack. I felt like that was a little bit of a safer play, but ultimately that's what you got to do is you adapt, you make those safe plays, you get those 3 stars when you need them, and you're rewarded with a perfect war and a victory.
Yeah, we had just this one fail, and especially early into the match, it makes it even harder to somehow stay in this match mental-wise, and especially if you're being on this level, it's really hard because you're kind of knowing, okay, as long as the other team is not like having a bad day or something, it's not maybe that likely that they're going to fail, and that's exactly what Tribe did. They did not fail today, and that's then the reason why they are victorious versus Momentum Shifters. And they are now going to the upper bracket, while the Momentum Shifters are dropping to the lower bracket, but we'll see them later today again.
Yeah, I like this Momentum Shifters team. They're really, really solid. But let's talk about our MVP, and it's going to be Yo-Yo with 23% of the vote there. I think we could have gone like anywhere. Rakira's right behind him with 18%, and Kronos, who set the tone early with a minute 19, actually the fastest attack with 12% of the MVP vote there. But when it's a perfect war, and you have that early defense, how do you vote? You just vote your favorite, right? And who doesn't love Yo-Yo?
Yeah, maybe just because he was the finisher, and people still remembers his name the best then because he was the last attacker. Who knows? But, well, we had an incredible match. Carbon, how did you enjoy that match, and what did you think about it?
Well, it was a great match, except for obviously that one fail that came in that definitely changed how the outcome of the match looked. And then Tribe just was able to coast through. They didn't have to worry about trying to be efficient. They just were going for the triples, and I mean, they still were quick with it. So great job from them getting the perfect war. Woody, how about you?
Thanks for asking, Carbon. It was a magnificent performance from Tribe, doing exactly what most of us had expected from them, being able to strike hard and fast and then kind of switch gears and just play it cool, going for safe, solid, reliable strikes. This is why they're one of the best teams in the game. They've been consistently performing for years, and they've got a really solid shot at grabbing a ticket this month. Maybe even the golden ticket if Millicene doesn't cause too much trouble for them. They'll stay in the upper bracket now, and we get another chance to see them tomorrow because we're going down to the lower bracket for the next matches today.
Yeah, and taking a look at this, remember, these 2 matchups will be elimination matchups. We're going to have Vista Ridge going up against Dizzy Cenizos, and then Pulse Gaming going against Momentum Shifters. And then tomorrow we will get back into the action. We'll see Millicene MG versus Tribe Gaming. Some exciting action here, but if you're Vista Ridge, Dizzy, Pulse, or Momentum Shifters, you have to win here to keep your golden ticket chances alive.
Well, the lower bracket. Both the next matches and both elimination matches, meaning if you lose, you will not be able to have a chance of continuing throughout this tournament, and you will be taking home $5,000 for 5th and 6th position. That is just for making it to this point. But Dizzy versus Vista Ridge is up next, and the percentage at the moment is very close, but in terms of stars, Vista Ridge has a little bit of an advantage. But my thought on the first match that we saw from Vista Ridge, their fail definitely played a huge impact. So we'll have to see how that's going to factor in this matchup here, Itsu.
Yeah, that's right for sure. Both teams so far have already lost a match, unfortunately, today, and they have now to somehow rebounds, making sure that they're getting back on track, making sure their head is into the match, and they're not doing any more mistakes, because I feel like so far it was always one attack in those matches going not their way. And if they're able to fix that, I think they're looking both really, really solid on paper and in the game.
You know, if I had to predict this match before the start of today, I probably would have done just the same prediction as I did when Vista Ridge was up against Momentum Shifters. I'd have taken Vista Ridge. They had a really strong stat line through the qualifiers previously, coming in at the very end up against Millicene MG and still putting in a perfect war. But I gotta agree with the rest of the casters here that it was a bit of a slow start for them so far. They only missed one attack, so it's really not that much of a shortcoming. But Dizzy x Cenizos got a win. They picked up a victory over Pulse Gaming, and even though they fell to a really strong team, Milliceme MG, and with just missing one attack at the very end of that war, took it to the ultimate point. I think Dizzy and Vista Ridge both have got a very strong lineup here, but I guess Dizzy has got a little bit of tip of the hat for me in this round. What do you think, Bash?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree with that. Even though the Dizzy does have the 1-star on the board here, in that last attack, it kind of felt like it was like one of those force situations where they needed a really fast attack, so they were trying to kind of force it in there and just go faster than they probably could go, and that's what forced that 1-star. It was the last attack for them of that war, so I'm not really holding that against them. I think what we saw from them in the first war, I think that like holds really true for us, and I think based on our predictions here, I think we all tend to agree with that, Carbon.
We all are taking Dizzy here in match number 5, but you never know. We all picked Milliceme, and they ended up winning. Majority of us picked Tribe there, and they ended up taking it there. So, you know, we've had some pretty good predictions. While last month, our predictions were all over the place, and they were not good at all. So we'll see about this match here, as it is an elimination one. What's your thoughts on these predictions, Itsu?
Yeah, I mean, I went with the stats on the last match, which did not work. So I just flip-flop this time and just went with the team which a little bit worse performed on the stats base. Maybe that works, who knows? No, but I think both of those teams have, as I said earlier, done this one mistake, and I feel it's all about just fixing as well a huge part with the mindset. And if they can do that, they're good to go. And it seems like that the community would agree with us. Dizzy, nearly 70%. And that is nearly as big of a lead as Tribe Gaming had, which is not that often. I mean, typically the polls are way closer. So that says a lot in my opinion. Woody, how about you? What do you think?
Well, I'm a flibberty gibbet right alongside you there, Mr. Itsu. I know that it's hard to make a solid, confident pick, especially when the teams are so closely matched. I'm really excited to talk through this next one, though, because I'm going to get a chance to be back on broadcast and see some more of the action from these two teams. But it really could go either way. I'd say maybe out of all of the wars that we've seen today, this one has the greatest coin flip potential for just one team kind of barely eking it out, or one team falling behind at the very last minute. So this is going to be an extremely close war by my estimation, and one that could really hinge on any slight misstep from either squad here. I really would not want to have to be the team that has to attack first in this next lineup, but I wonder if there's kind of any other thing that we should be looking out for here, Bash. Is there anything in particular about either of these two lineups that you think could really turn the tides one way or the other?
I agree that this one could go either way, but I think if you're Vista Ridge after their first performance, they have to kind of step it up here a little bit. It felt like they were a little bit slower. They're a little bit behind what we've seen from these other teams. So I think if you're Vista Ridge, you come out early, you set the tone, you get on the board with a minute 20 or less 3-star, and that'll kind of silence some of that doubt that we're hearing. I mean, it's not disrespect to them, but they do have to step it up just a little bit, and I think if you do that early on, it sets the tone.
So the person to keep your eye on for Vista Ridge is going to be Pikachu. He failed in the previous one, which set the tone for their match. And now, if he triples, that is going to be huge for their team. So best of luck to both of these teams in the first elimination match of this weekend. So Bash and myself will be taking a seat for this one, as Itsu and Woody go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, we are ready for sure with this next match, both in line with our predictions, and as well we agree that this is going to be a really close match. As you said, coin flip was already a word which we have used a lot for this match, and as well, which team is going to be able to recover quicker and faster from their loss earlier today.
Let's jump straight into it. Momin will be the first attacker for Dizzy x Cenizos up against Manic from Vista Ridge. Now, we did give a little bit of a tip of the hat toward Dizzy, and I think that that's certainly justified. They got a win over Pulse Gaming, an upset against the caster predictions, and so I think that they definitely have a bit of an edge on their side. They've got a bit of a boost of confidence knowing that they picked up a win, they've taken a loss, but that they can still hold their heads high as they go down to the lower bracket with a solid chance at moving on. It feels a little bit demoralizing to know that that initial win didn't really do very much for them. They're going to have to go up against Vista Ridge, which just took a loss right out of the gate and moved down to the lower bracket. That first win still is going to have them in the same position as Vista Ridge now, and they'll have to fight all the way from the bottom. But let's see if they've got it in them. Lots of practice leading up to this moment, and elimination is on the line for both Dizzy X Cenizos and Vista Ridge. The Queen out the bottom corner, and a Siege Barracks on the right side bolstering a Royal Champion charge. We've also got a giant gauntlet on that King punching into the bottom compartment and moving on up to support the Root Riders now. It's a clean entry and beautiful funneling job, Itsu.
Yeah, and just the King redirecting into the middle of the base was, I think, quite nice. Having now the Queen with the healers on the outside and not too much damage anymore on her is looking beautiful. Tornado Trap is delaying things a little bit, but with that overgrowth spell, there's little to no damage in that core versus the troops. And with that, he's keep wall breaking the Archer Queen so he can reach pretty much everything with her.
Lots of poor wizards along the outside are going to get obliterated by a tiny bomb, and that could put a dent in the DPS for the cleanup here, but still looking very solid on timing. Does miss the scatter shot with that freeze. A little bit unfortunate, but not a whole lot to worry about as he moves into the final stage. Ooh, the early timing on that freeze was also unfortunate as the invisibility tower got a chance to pop off and slow this attack down even further. This had the potential for being one of the quickest and most decisive strong starts that we've seen so far today, but still a minute and 20 seconds is a very solid hit for a moment.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good way of starting into a match. I mean, we have seen slower, we have seen faster attacks, but I think for sure that's a really solid start. And make sure that, well, there is pressure on the other team because first off, you did not fail, and I feel like most of those failed attacks in the past have happened within the first two attacks. So we have seen plenty of 1 stars within the first attacks in this tournament and over the last couple of months, which is crazy. And I feel like getting this first 3-star into the match is such a good feeling because you are not behind early on. And now we have to make sure that we can say the exact same thing about VR because they are in with the dragons again and with the giant arrow, and he's getting those air defenses in the core. Great usage of that equipment.
Hopping into the next strike from Electro, it's going to be Balloons out in front to take a few shots for these dragons. Nice timing on that Eternal Tome as well as a bunch of rage to get them into that core nice and quick. We are going super fast on this initial strike and hoping that that nice spread of dragons and balloons can stay well positioned for this next hit. He's going to be dropping freezes on the Town Hall and Scatter Shot to make sure that that splash damage doesn't cause too much of a trouble, but he's lost all of his balloons and the dragons kind of concentrated maybe a bit more than he was hoping for. Some unlucky catches as well on the traps on the interior of that base, and he is leaving those multi-archer towers and the multi-infernos up standing strong.
Yeah, but just the way and how is he how he's protecting his Archer Queen with the Ice Golem, with the Skeleton Spear and such things is really impressive as he's moving forward with that Royal Champion, with those dragons, and that back-end air defense is going down. The Queen's still full health, and the Royal Champion ability is now getting used because remember, this haste effect is active for quite some time, so you want to pop it as early as possible going into the last couple of defenses, and he's celebrating. He is getting that first 3-star. We have talked about it. Getting the first 3-star in your matches is so clutch in those competitions. I think it was a little bit slower than the attack of Dizzy, but in the end, both teams starting strong and only 5 seconds being the difference.
125 from VR Electro. And Vista Ridge will avoid that stumble out of the gate that we have so often seen been a problem for teams today. Alex LC, the next attacker, up against VR Sora, trying to keep Dizzy ahead and in the lead with a 5-second lead so far. We'll just have to see if the same can be said for their number 2 hit. It's going to be more of those Root Riders you've come to know and love. Arch Queen on the left side corner gets some Barbarian King support as well to crack through some of these big, tough storages meant to slow down an entry point on that angle, but it is not going to be too much for Alex LC to worry about. Root Riders are going to get some Apprentice Warden support as well to boost up that DPS a little bit further after that big round of nerfs that came out in the last balance change. But an early strike of Eagle Artillery from a massive Golem Barbarian King is going to smash through with that giant gauntlet. Huge splash damage from those heroes on that left side, and a really deep overgrowth spell on that right side corner to shut down the Town Hall, Itsu.
Yeah, and like the Golem King with that giant gauntlet just looks so satisfying. It's so crazy. Bigger than any Town Hall out there. But wait a second, the troops in the core slowly have went down. Yes, the Royal Champions here with her ability, but the Town Hall is still going to wake up. The Queen has no ability left anymore as well, and there is still some defenses left in this base who are firing at his troops.
There sure are. That Archer Queen in the core is going to draw the attack from both the Royal Champion and some of those attacking troops, but the Barbarian King is no better at defending against that Royal Champion. That amazing speed that she's got from that equipment keeps her on track and toward that 3-star, although it's going to be the slowest one we've seen so far today in this match. We are past the halfway mark, and still there are defenses standing up. If the Royal Champion and these Hogs can finish it off, that will still be a relatively quick finish, though. It would just be really a terrible waste if we had to wait all the way for that Archer Queen to make it over. All right, Royal Champion does finish it off, and that's going to be a 3-star strike, but really dragging Dizzy behind on time now, Itsu.
Yeah, this is for sure not optimal for them. Quite a slow attack for sure, and it's now back to VR. They have the perfect chance of going in the lead after falling behind after the first attack, but we have seen this now plenty of times already today that teams are getting comebacks with this time. And I mean, Dizzy was one of those teams earlier who were able to clutch it out late in the attacks. I would never say that they're out of a match whatsoever, because they have just crazy attackers and solid defense as well. But VR is up next, and we're going back to the Root Riders. And it's pretty interesting that in some matches we see a lot of dragons and mainly dragons. In some other matches it's just mainly Root Riders. But I feel like those two troops, those two army compositions are dominating for sure currently.
Yeah, despite the round of nerfs that we just saw for Root Riders, they are still extremely strong and reliable attack strategies. Maybe not so for Pikachu, who was the only player on this Vista Ridge lineup to miss in the previous war. He's trying to prove his spot is well-deserved on this lineup. And although he's going to be catching a tornado trap early on in the entry to slow him down, he does prevent a lot of damage from coming in using that Eternal Tome and a heal spell. Kind of strange to see them stacked on top of each other, trying to keep his troops as safe as he possibly can as they march toward that overgrowth Town Hall over on the right side. Is going to be a split up of the Root Riders now, as a few go toward that bottom air defense and the rest are going to be going up toward that top on the Ricochet cannon. Huge poison tower is going to be getting a lot of damage against these attacking troops, though, and this is a bit of an awkward spread now for Pikachu, who once again is trying to clean up toward the end, but has a lot of base left to get through, Itsu.
Yeah, and especially with the Archer Queen. The Archer Queen was supposed to walk around the bottom side outside compartment, but with walking inside, he does not have this Queen power now to actually take down the Town Hall. This is why he has to redirect some of the other troops. Royal Champion and Super Barons are clutching it out and getting that Town Hall out, but still has to take down the last single Inferno Tower, which takes some more time, but it's going to be the 3-star either way. And they should be up in time now, at least a little bit.
Yeah, just very, very tight advantage now for Vista Ridge on time. Certainly not a super quick attack, but it was faster than the last one that we saw, and it's a 3-second overall advantage now for Vista Ridge as Pikachu makes the comeback happen, and with a 1-minute 33-second 3-star strike, they are going to be taking the lead away from Dizzy X Cenizos. Plenty of time still left on the board for the last 3 attackers to make anything happen in this war, and Zhao Tian will be the next to move in for Dizzy X Cenizos.
Yeah, we have this next attacker, and I mean, so far, this match could not get any closer, and it is Now with the next attack, it's back to the Root Riders. I'm really surprised that we have not seen more dragons now in this match, because it seemed like that they were really quick as well. And both of those teams really need a quick attack to put up even more pressure on the other side. But instead, it's the Root Riders again. And we see a lot of golems now getting added as well, for either as tanks for one of those heroes, Royal Champ, Archer Queen. Both have been seen in the past. But this time around, though, it's a complete opposite side, with going from different corners of the base at the same time.
I'll give a tip of the hat also to the healer puppet hero equipment for the Archer Queen. We'd seen a lot of freezing arrow in the past couple of months, but there seems to be a switch to using the healer puppet instead. Although the freezing arrow is great for long encounters and can shut down a lot of incoming DPS, it may not be the best for burst damage. When the Queen's taking a lot of fire, she needs those healers to be able to get her back up. And with that invisibility vial, she is able to get out of enemy fire for a little while. Xiao Tan is going to be charging into the core with a jump spell to get those heroes over the wall and an overgrowth to shut down a lot of those core defenses, but leaves the monolith up for them to target as soon as they can. Going to be popping off with the freeze and rage to finish off the spell component to this attack, but hasn't dropped it quite yet. Might be waiting to use that against the Town Hall at the very end. Looks like the Archer Queen's going to be going down at the top side there from that super minion strike. A P.E.K.K.A. as long alongside a super wall break is going to be able to get a little bit closer to the core as well and maybe soak some more of this incoming damage. So Xiao Tan looking to get the last leg of this base finished off now, Itsu.
Yeah, really nice. Saving those last couple of spells for the back end. And with that rage, he's really easily able to overpower the back end, which means Town Hall woke up again. Town Hall is down. And getting that 3-star in, making sure that they are keep moving forward with those 3 stars. And that's exactly what they had to do here. Not the quickest attack either, again, but making sure that the average time is going down at least a little bit compared to what they have done before.
We have not seen a tiebreak on time yet today, but that might be the case for this war, as we now have a very, very close average time between, so far, a perfect war at the midway point now. Just a 2-second advantage for Vista Ridge, and it's their turn to attack next, as Sora will be marching in once again with that giant gauntlet on the king and a standard complement of equipment for the rest. I was going to be using standard heroes as well, with pets going to be the poison lizard to support the Grand Warden. Early stab at the right side corner is going to get access to that monolith, as well as a couple of heroes on defense, pulling out the CC as well, and wouldn't be surprised to see some massive splash damage from that giant Gauntlet King as he crushes the defenses out there. Support from the Queen as well, but it's a lightning fast strike toward the core now, Itsu.
Yeah, the Root Riders are moving quick, but I feel like the biggest game changer here was the Siege Barracks with those 2 P.E.K.K.A. raged up, one-shotting that town on the far left side. That was a really smart move, and this allows him to bring more spells, because this means there was no overgrowth spell invested in this one. This means another rage, and this could be then possibly a better time for him, because take a look at this. He is already closing in onto one of the last compartments while still being on the 60-second mark, and that could be exactly what they need. He just needs to make sure that he's overpowering the last couple of defenses now quickly, maybe using the Queen ability soon as well. But as I'm saying this, the troops are slowly going down. Where's that Royal Champion? She did not make it to the end, and this now could cost him on the time front.
A lot of time is going to be missed here now, and with the jump spell already committed to the interior, the Queen's ability is going to be popped here just to get a little bit more DPS to try to round out the rest of this base. She will certainly be able to clean it up, there's no question about that, but this is going to take a very long time for Sora to finish off, and that is something that he did not have the luxury of surrendering to Dizzy. This 3-star is going to be coming in maybe closer to the 2-minute mark, and that's going to dramatically increase the average attack time for Vista Ridge and give Dizzy a clear advantage now, once again, on the average duration of this attack. Still holding on to a couple of archers and a wizard to apply a little bit more pressure here onto this last multi-archer tower, but goodness gracious, that Queen is going to have to go through another layer of walls, chewing the fat and just sitting back as the rest of the army is just down and out.
Yeah, and the Queen just picking not the most optimal wall in the beginning really has cost him here quite some time. And not having the Rorschach on the backhand really was hurting him quite a lot. But overall, good idea. Not working out in the end though. With the time, a 3 stars is here either way, so they're still looking good on that front. But a 2-minute 20-second attack could cost them quite a bit in the long run.
BR Sora from Vista Ridge does put up the 3-star, but it's one of the slowest that we've seen yet today. And unfortunately for him, a slow 3-star in this metagame is almost the same as a 2-star strike. Nelson from Dizzy X Cenizos knows that he doesn't really have to worry so much about time anymore, just those solid 3-star hits. They're pretty far ahead overall, and as long as there isn't a major upset in this next strike, Dizzy X Cenizos has the chance to sail on to victory with quick, reliable hits against a base that's pretty decently spread out. This is a pretty frustrating base to have to go up against just because you don't get any chain value with Electro Dragons. You don't get a whole lot of value from being able to crush walls super easily. It isn't the most difficult base to 3-star, but it is pretty well set up to try to slow down an attacker. Unfortunately, that's not really what Vista Ridge needs right now. They need to try to get a defense against Nelson.
Yeah, and maybe that's already a good start with the queen not walking around the outside and taking the wall break. Instead, she's jumping into the village with the king together, which means way more damage on her than what he was expecting. On the other side, though, I would say the Root Rider push is looking good for him, but the queen is now under a lot of firepower, and he has to make sure that he's using that ability early.
Pops it off, and with a jump spell over on the left side, he does get the king into the core of the base, but with that overgrowth spell down now, there's not a lot for him to go after. He is going to be going down, and with a few more traps to trigger against the Phoenix up there, he's going to have to rely on this queen over on the left side to try to loop around and support the remaining Root Riders as they make their way toward the top side of the base, supported still by the Grand Warden, holding on to one last free spell to shut down the Monolith and the Scatter Shot in the core of the base. He's going to be raging up the remaining troops there. Oh, he shuts down the Ricochet Cannon instead. Monolith does get a lock on the Queen, but it's too late for it to take her down. She has got plenty of health and will be getting a clean and fast finish here now for Nelson. A 1 minute and 27-second strike, it looked like, to bring the average attack down, time down for Cenizos. Dizzy doing very, very well here now with a strong advantage over Vista Ridge as we're looking to close out this war with the last few attacks.
Yeah, it will get harder and harder for VR to actually still get that comeback. They need to either get incredible quick attacks at this point, or they have to hope for a defense because of their 1 minute 20-second attack. We have Manique now going in next. I know he can attack fast, but can he pull that off now in this specific attack to make sure that his team is staying in this match and somehow staying close, because that is all what he can do for his team currently, making sure that they have the chance of not only staying close in the match, but as well in the tournament, as this is in fact an elimination bracket match.
Giant Arrow carves a massive chunk through that base, and grabbing those air sweepers is always big value. There is still one left next to the Scatter Shot and the Poison Tower in the core, but the Dragons might be able to dodge it. Stone Slammer pops over on the right side thanks to defenses from that Archer Queen, and he's going to hold off on that Grand Warden's ability until these Dragons get closer to the core of the base. He's going to be sacrificing some damage, though, on those Dragons while that happens, and he's losing all of his balloons in the meantime. Manic has taken a big hit on the chin, but he's hoping that that's going to pay off with the late deploy of this Eternal Tome as he gets the rest of his troops squared away to try to get some damage carved away against this base. But Jump Spell is going to be going down useless so far. That King is trying to path toward it now, and he finally will get a chance to move in against this base. CC is going to be popping out with a lot of small troops, and that's perfect for the poison spell that he's brought this time. Manic still looking to try to get the 3-star, but it is dwindling his chances of being able to get a clean and quick hit here, Itsu.
Yeah, that one sweeper pushing those Dragons away from the Town Hall. The Witch, the Archers, really, really painful in the defensive clan castle because they were spreading out so much. At this point, the last Dragon is going down. Everything is relying on those heroes with no spells left. And the Town Hall seems to be the last baiting, the last defense left alive in this one. And this defense could stay alive to force a 1-star and could decide this match.
Even a skeleton trap to slow down that road champion march over on the bottom right side. She makes her way in, but can't finish off that multi, and the Queen is going to be taking fire alongside those healers for a little bit longer. Town Hall's going to be engaged as on defense as well, and this is going to be a razor-tight finish now as the Queen gets the engage. She ought to be able to take it down thanks to the safe positioning of those healers, but my, oh my, Manic had got to be sweating for Vista Ridge just to keep their head in the game here. He's already passed the 2-minute mark, and so time really is not going to be on Vista Ridge's side at all. But with the 3-star secure, they do still have that slim possibility of taking the win if Cenizos misses on their final attack.
Yeah, the comeback dream is still alive, but it's getting more and more unlikely. A 3-star is all what Dizzy needs. If they're 3-star, even a slow one, as long as they're 3-star, they should be good to go, because the last 2 attacks for VR were not that quick, and we have Melly, who already did come in clutch, earned his MVP title in one of the earlier matches, and he can now be again this clutch attacker for his team to decide the match and make sure that their road in the lower bracket is not ending today.
Don't forget, though, the only 1-star we've seen so far also came from Melly. He's a clutch attacker to finish off a war, but he's not a perfect hitter. We gotta give some opportunity now for Vista Ridge defenses to try to hold on yet again and see if they can deny Melly the final stomping perfect war that Dizzy X Cenizos so desperately needs if they want to stay alive in this competition. Like I said, Itsu, a perfect war here does guarantee victory for Dizzy X Cenizos, as they are so far ahead on time. It would have to be a really slow one in order for Vista Ridge to be able to catch up.
And what a start this is. Both sweepers taken care of with this one giant arrow. Perfect placement of that Queen. Everyone who's playing this giant arrow knows this is not easy to get this angle right. The invisibility tower behind the town hall is not doing anything. He took down the sweepers, the bitter huts, everything set up correctly. The town hall is about to go down, and this attack looks beautiful. Even only one Electro Dragon is actually caught inside the town hall explosion and the poison, and things look great for Dizzy currently.
It's a beautiful start for Dizzy, and Melly's got to be feeling a lot better about how this one's shaping up. A really nicely positioned overgrowth grabs so many defenses in the core of this base and gives an easy path around. It is going to be a simple collapse toward the end, and I'm only just a little bit worried that with the loss of the Grand Warden there's going to be a lot of DPS focused on these attacking troops. They are well positioned though, and of course dragons can fly over walls, so with the shock damage splashing all across these defenses, chaining through to the end, Melly has done it! A 3-star finish for Dizzy X Cenizos on a perfect war with a nice quick time should keep them in the lead.
Yeah, really nicely done by him. He is coming in clutch again. It wouldn't surprise me if he would earn that MVP voting again. And I mean, he's done it now twice. I feel like the 1-star in the match earlier, which you have mentioned, only happened because he was forced to get an incredible quick time and somehow turn around the match. So yeah, it's like you can't really count it too much, to be honest, but in the 2 times where out of the 3 matches where he was able to clutch for his team, he did it twice, which is really impressive. For VR now, at this point, give us the best showing you could possibly do, because they have unfortunately lost this match already. Except they're getting like a 10-second 3-star, which is not that realistic, let's face it.
Yeah, so far behind on time at this point. We have got no chance at all to hope for the lightning fast finish that would be necessary from VR Eric. He still can give us a perfect war though, and hope that maybe next month could be an opportunity for them to make a comeback into the Worlds qualifiers. Vista Ridge, a very strong team that made an impressive run through the monthly qualifiers, making it very high up on that open qualifier leaderboard and almost all the way to the #1 position in the bracket. But just slipping a little bit against Millicene MG was the beginning of the end for them, falling 2 wars in a row now. and ultimately being eliminated by Dizzy X Cenizos. An impressive finish here, as we do see VR Eric making one of the quickest attacks that we've seen so far yet today from Vista Ridge. If it had been like this all across the board, they might have been able to pick up a win, but that was not going to be the story that can be told today, as Dizzy X Cenizos defenses will overall hold on, and Eric's excellent performance will not be enough to give his team a win.
Yeah, it was a really good showing by VR overall. They have made it all the way to this stage, and as we have explained earlier in the broadcast, they are still going out of this competition with some prize money. But in the end, we see Dizzy going into the next round, staying alive in this tournament, and making it to the next round of the lower bracket. And I mean, I'm just saying, we have seen quite a few of the lower bracket runs in the past in those qualifiers, so this might be a really nice momentum boost for Dizzy in this iteration.
Yeah, just unfortunate that the quickest attacks from Vista Ridge, from Electro, and here again from Eric, were just about the same speed as the average attacks from Dizzy X Cenizos. Time is not on your side when you are a Clash of Clans pro player. You have got to be fighting against it as quick as you possibly can. And in a war that is as tight as this, in a lower bracket match where it all is coming down to the wire, time is going to be a major factor here. So very excited to see such a close war, the first war that we see getting to go this tightly down to the end. I guess besides the last war that Dizzy played, Dizzy has a perfect setup so far, except for their last match against Milliseam MG, but they will be able to advance now in the lower bracket, taking this win off of Vista Ridge and giving themselves an opportunity to still contend for that golden ticket.
Yeah, and they were able to show up really when it mattered. And I feel like that is this clutch factor, which I feel like is so impressive, and which those teams need to really make sure that they're getting really far in this competition, because this is something which happened in the past as well, that we have seen teams which might have not collected the best hit rate or the best stats possible over the tournament, but they were able to show up when it mattered, and that's how they then pushed another round, and even further step by step. And I think that's exactly what Dizzy did over the last couple of matches, to be honest. It was overall really close fight for them, and they have the chance for making it far. On the other side, VR sadly is dropping out in this match, and we have just another elimination match around the corner, because this day of Clash action is not over.
It is not over by a mile, and the weekend has really just begun. A golden ticket and tens of thousands of dollars yet to award this month, and it's only just another day of competition after this last match coming up soon, but it's another elimination round that we have coming up next, so you are not going to want to miss it. Check out the match results now between Dizzy X Cenizos and Vista Ridge, showing a perfect 15-15 scoreline and that time edge in Dizzy X Cenizos' favor. They've missed before, but they are not going to miss when it matters. Dizzy X Cenizos, with the win over Vista Ridge, will be able to sit pretty in the lower bracket semifinal until tomorrow, as they get a chance to watch Pulse Gaming go up against the Momentum Shifters next to find out who they'll be facing off against.
Yeah, and that will be another crazy match for sure, because both of those teams have not really performed in any way bad or anything like that. This is overall the... Okay, this was somewhat to be expected. Melly again with the around 50% MVP voting. He's just the clutch man. He's just the one person which can clutch out your matches, and he has done so far quite a couple of times, so that's super impressive. But what I want to say, overall, this is the top 16 of the month, and all of those teams are incredibly talented. So I think the next match with Momentum Shifters and Pulse Gaming should be a really good one as well.
Yeah, kudos to Vista Ridge, coming home with $5,000 as one of the top 6 teams in the Clash of Clans Open qualifier this month. It is super difficult to make it all the way to the top, and hey, there's still a chance if you think out there that you can go toe-to-toe with the best here. Remember, we've got a few more qualifiers coming up later this year, but one more big match later today, and we're going to be teeing that off next. We're going to be bringing Bash back on with Carbon. Let's go to you first, Bash. Let us know what you thought about that last match.
I think it went about how we expected. I mean, it was a double perfect, but Vista Ridge, again, just a little bit slower. Their fastest attack was, what, 125 there? So that's what we kind of saw from them earlier. They're able to put up those 3 stars, but they kind of struggle with that pacing, like unlike the other teams who can go just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it comes down to time, and unfortunately, Vista Ridge, their time has fallen short. But they're still taking home $5,000 as they have been eliminated, as Dizzy has advanced to round 2 in the lower bracket. But the next match that we're going to be covering, Pulse Gaming versus Momentum Shifters. Now this is going to be an epic one. Pulse Gaming coming in as one of the teams with the highest hit rate amongst all the teams here, even though they didn't have the first round bye, as the 2 teams who did, they're waiting in the upper finals. They will be playing later tomorrow to be trying to get that golden ticket. But look at this. We have a lot of us except Itsu, the only one taking Momentum Shifter. So what's your thought process there, Itsu?
I mean, let's just bring a little bit of variety in there. And as I said, I'm always going to those predictions with going based on numbers in some or the other way. I have said, as soon as I'm like not going, or as soon as one of those plans are not going to plan, I would just flippity flip-flop to the other side. I have always went with the team with the highest 3-star rate until it didn't work anymore with the Tribe Gaming match. Then I flip-flopped to the other side. It has worked, so I'm doing it again. The team with the lower hit rate so far in the tournament, that's the one I'm going with, which is Momentum Shifters in this match. Pulse Gaming having, as you said it, the highest hit rate in this competition so far. So yeah, I mean, maybe it works, maybe not. I think both teams had an incredible run so far, and both have the chance of actually making it into the next run of the lower bracket. And yeah, that's why I went with the Momentum Shifters. And if you take a look at the sets, yeah, Pulse Gaming is looking like the clear favorite. Let's face it, Woody.
Well, the counter pick is never an easy one to pull off. I often hear that the trend is your friend, and with Carbon Finn taking a perfect prediction pick so far, I think I'm happy to be right alongside him, trying to make that reverse sweep come true. I'm 3-0 out of the past 3 matches, so let's make it a 4-2 overall today if Pulse gets the win. Momentum Shifters have got a solid chance at pulling off the victory, though. Let's not discount them at all. You may be right here, Itsu, after all, because they've only missed once out of the past 2 wars, and it was against Tribe Gaming, a super tough squad. MOS Ahmad is one of the most impressive attackers so far today, having picked up an MVP win already, and is certainly a strong and decisive lead hitter for this team. It's going to be tough for Pulse Gaming to come back against what is sure to be a very strong start from him. But they've got a very solid lineup as well. Pulse Gaming pulled off a 15-star perfect war against Dizzy x Cenizos, just a little bit slower on time. I feel like Pulse Gaming have got a couple of different avenues for victory. They could either just pull off the perfect war and get a defense against Momentum, or just try to keep that straight and steady timing on task. Whereas Momentum Shifters have got some really outside amazing performances and, you know, maybe a miss here and there. Pulse Gaming, I think, is the consistent pick, and so far that's been my selection today. What do you think, Bash?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to pick stats, like Itsu said, and we can pick stats all day. I kind of just like what I saw from Pulse Gaming. They kind of had that first war just stolen from them with that last attack. They were really consistent. Their times were really good. So I like what I saw from them earlier. Now, I definitely think this could go either way, because Momentum Shifters, they also went really quick earlier, but they did have that one miss. So I think that one miss was just weighing a little bit heavier in my brain. I don't know. That's kind of where I went, Carbon. Also, following Carbon seems to be a good play today.
I mean, we'll see. Last month it was not good. I was getting every single one of them basically wrong. But the community has selected, the Momentum Shifters. 58% are going there. So we've got Itsu in the community together, while myself, Woody, and Bash are all going Pulse. So we'll have to see who is going to be right, as this is the final match here today, match number 6. It is an elimination match as we get ready for tomorrow to be giving away a golden ticket. So now we're going to say goodbye to Itsu and Woody as Bash and I will take you through the final match today. Oh, I am ready, Bash. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm excited, man. I am excited. It's been an absolute blast thus far. And I'm hoping these two teams bring, I want to see another 15-15 right here. And I want it to be close coming into those last two attacks. I mean, it just makes it more exciting. If we're going to have a speed war, let's have one that's close. And Ahmed is going to be starting us off. And I mean, he sets the tone. Whether we're going fast or we're missing, he set the tone so far.
Will he be bringing some E-Dragons? Will he be bringing some else? Or does he have something that we've not even thought about before? So it's all coming down to this. You're in an elimination match, which means that you got to pull everything out. You got to show all your cards. You got to go all out. If you get eliminated, you're gone. You have to wait till next month to try to compete again. And it's a lot of work because you have to play through the very first stage, the open qualifiers, play in those 30 wars. Then you got to play in stage 2. And there's just so much work that goes into it in preparation, as we are indeed seeing the E-Dragons using a balloon out in front. Very nice to pull these sinking air mines so the E-Dragon can continue and stay alive.
We did see the Queen with that giant arrow going across the base here. He did not get out the sweeper, which I'm not sure if he was aiming for it or not. The line was a little bit off there. But the Dragons are going to go ahead and be protected by the Warden's Eternal Tome, but we will have that sweeper pushing back at us as he surges towards the middle of this base. Now, he does have a Stone Slammer on the outside, so it's going to be up to the E-Drags, maybe even that Stone Slammer to come back and get the Town Hall down as the heroes are on the outside of this one.
There was defending witches inside the clan castle, which could be a very good counter to E-Dragons to kind of absorb those strikes across into different skeletons, but he was able to make some easy work to push right on through there, as he still has now the Royal Champion deployed to the right side of the space. The King still has the ability, which is going to have the spiky ball skip across the bottom side there all around. But a lot of the E-Dragons in the core have disappeared. They've moved off to the top side, so it's now all about the heroes and finishing the space off.
It's really going to be on the Royal Champion as the King is fading a little bit. He's okay. He's kind of sustaining, but with the Royal Champion, with that Haste Vial and Hogs, I'm pretty sure that's what he had on there. He does have a couple more E-Drags, and they're pretty healthy. So if these E-Drags can get a chain or two, actually, he'll be fine. Yeah, Ahmed is going to get through here. It is a little bit slower on the pace as we're nearing that 90-second mark. So he's a little bit slower than he'd probably like to be, but it is a 3-star. After he missed in that last war, I think getting a triple on the board with, 137, 138 here, I think that's fine for Ahmed.
And notice here, the Phoenix was on the Warden. Typically, these pro players, what they do is they don't use the Owl. So a lot of you at home may be wondering, wait, what about the Owl? Is the Owl supposed to be good? It could get some chains. Your Phoenix only comes to life when your Warden dies. Well, that's actually the point, because you're expecting your Warden actually to die through the attack. And if you took the Owl's chains would actually chain other buildings and ruin your E-Dragon chains. So the Owl could actually be a hindrance if you were an E-Dragon attacker, and especially when the Warden comes back to life with the Phoenix in some critical and clutch moments, it can help clean up a building in the middle of a base. So that's why they choose to bring the Phoenix there, as now we're seeing Pulse come in with the Root Riders and some Valkyries, starting off with that King, and does not actually have a jump spell, which we've seen typically paired with that King.
Yeah, not able to get as much there, but I mean, he does wallbreaker the King back out into that next compartment, so that'll be fine. Does send in a Headhunter to help the King deal with the enemy King, and all the Roots are surging towards the middle of this base now. Does have a Skeleton spell over there on the right-hand side to help out, just distracting that Ricochet Cannon and the Queen over there. Overgrowth on the Town Hall. Queen's going to go ahead and work forward. The King's going to try to get back and help her out. We'll get the Ice Golems out of the Clan Castle. We'll have to see if the Royal Champion comes in here on the right side to accompany the Hogs out of the barracks.
Yeah, with that Overgrowth, making all that core invisible so he can come back to the Town Hall. Investing a Skeleton spell on the top side. Tesla's Monolith, the defensive Royal Champion, he does decide to freeze up that Poison Spell Tower, which means it's going to get launched as he's approaching, and the Town Hall now comes back to life. So there's a lot he still has to push through, and this might start to disappear here. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about it, Carbon. There's a lot of base. That Overgrowth kind of faded early there. The monolith on the backside, the warden pedestal there, along with some Teslas.
Uh-oh.
Queen has ability. Oh boy, this is definitely in danger.
No.
Couple super barbs. Ooh, that baby dragon gets taken out. RC stepping up.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
The queen can reach technically everything around. She has to move her way off to the right side. But with a ricochet cannon, and the unicorn is dead, this queen has no way to heal it back up unless he pops the ability, which depends on what ability he has here for the... Wait. Oh, is it going to be healers and invisibility?
Healers, yeah.
Yep, it is. But I don't think that... Nope. That monolith is just going to be too much as he's going to make the approach here.
Well, that is unfortunate. All of the misses, aside from the 1-star, all of the 2-star misses have been on the first attack for whichever team it's been. And for Pulse Gaming, this is devastating. It does get to 90%, but that is all it's going to be, as it is a 2-star defense for the Momentum Shifters. They were in this exact situation in their last war. Now they have the advantage, and they can look to win this war with all 3 stars.
And this is what happens sometimes to some teams that have done really well through the previous stage. Pulse Gaming coming in as one of the top hit rate teams throughout the competition, but they could be at risk of now going 1 and 2 back-to-back losses, meaning you are eliminated. And we've seen it before where top teams, even teams that were in a first round bye, losing twice and out of the competition. You have to perform when the lights are on, when everyone's watching, the pressure is there, and now we're going to see if the Momentum Shifters can keep up their streak, bringing in some 3 stars, using this giant arrow to help snipe that initial multi-target Inferno, as that queen will continue her way potentially to top side if the king clears in time. It looks like the test is pulling the queen a little bit to the left, but the dragons are now coming to the right, or to the far left, as they're going to make their approach.
But this should be fine. King and Queen will be able to go deal with the Town Hall, get those scatter shots out, get the Eagle out, maybe even get to that enemy Queen if they have enough gas in the tank. Meanwhile, the Dragons will be able to kind of just go up towards the top of the base. They will have to get through that multi-corner. Wait a second, King's coming back. Okay, King's going back in. I was a little bit worried the King was going the wrong way there. Now, Stone Slammer for the top. This should be fine here for Imran. And really, all they have to do is get some 3 stars on the board. Super Dragon out of that battle blimp, or out of the Stone Slammer, excuse me, will deal with the enemy Queen. His Queen's gonna fight these Ice Golems and be protected. We got Super Barbarians in there to help out the Dragons, push them in the middle. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, with those dragons continuing their way up, the Super Barbarians did some nice work to the top side. The RC now burns her ability to continue her way off to the right, while the scatter shot is tanked onto the Queen, and the Queen is barely staying alive, but this is going to be a 3-star to keep that 3-star streak going.
Oh man, this is what Momentum Shifters needed. Lots of firepower here. Now, time really doesn't matter anymore. Like Itsu and I were talking about in the tribe war, once your opponent misses, the time is kind of irrelevant because the odds are you're not going to get a percentage tie anymore. Really, you just got to worry about getting those 3 stars and winning this war now. So Momentum Shifters looking to keep their hopes alive, and Imran does a great job with this dragon attack. The Super Dragon out of that Stone Slammer was really clutch in there. Got the enemy Queen down and got a lot of defenses helping out those dragons. Nice attack.
I wonder if they start to change any of their plans. Do they move on to a queen charge type of attack? Because that is something we actually, I don't even think we've seen in the entirety of all of today. Because you know these pros, they love to bring those varieties when the time isn't a factor, because that is what they've been doing for so many years here. The pressure can get to you, and one mistake you could still fail. And even when you bring these Root Riders of Valkyries, that one mistake could actually lead to that 1-star, meaning now you are at risk of getting a loss.
That's true. We've seen it. We've seen it happen, and we've seen when it hasn't happened, there's been a few close calls when you save that Town Hall for the end. I don't know that you switch it up too much, because odds are they've been practicing these Root Rider attacks a lot. You're probably not practicing those deep Queen charges as much these days. You're pretty much going for speed, so I don't know if you want to get out of what you've been practicing too much. Kind of stick with what's been working for you. It's going to be Sahara coming up next with the Root Riders. Tons of Super Barbarians on this one. King is going to go ahead and push in towards that expo, and the Queen looks to stay on the outside and kind of accompany him as the Siege Barracks goes on that right side. All the Root Riders will go up the middle towards the town hall.
Yeah, they're going to path their way into the monolith. The King's ability goes right off the bat there with the spiky ball. And he did wall break a couple different sections to get the King in and out with that Queen to the left. While he does invest that overgrowth to the town hall, continuing his push into the core.
Alrighty, let's see. We talked about that overgrowth. Let's see if it is on time, if it's fine here, which I like the way this one's going, actually. All the root riders on the right side should be really fine in there. We do have the hogs coming out of the barracks. We got the king and queen working on the bottom side, so all the pathing should collapse at the top side, and then once that overgrowth wears off, they'll be able to go right back in towards the eagle, towards that poison tower, and then finally towards the town hall. So I think the timing on this one was really, really good. Pulse Gaming just has to keep doing this and hope that they can force a mistake from momentum shifters.
It definitely could happen as the Root Riders are pathing their way into the core. The poison gets launched because it got taken out as he passes his way into the town hall. Gonna have to absorb that town hall explosion, but with the Raw Champion ability still intact, this is gonna be a 3-star. The RC can haste her way right on past the scatter, moving to that Expo, and Sahara getting that triple. But now they just have their fingers crossed. They are just hoping for the best. You never know, as there's still plenty of attacks still to come in.
Yeah, a lot of war to go. 6 attacks yet to be played, but man, you gotta be feeling a little bit doubtful. I mean, if you're Pulse Gaming, that doubt is gonna be creeping in your mind. You have to know that you're kind of up against the wall here. It's really all on your opponent. And if you're momentum shifters, you know what you have to do. Just get 3 stars. They don't have to be quick 3 stars. You know how to do it. We've seen them put up big scores. And let's see if Leo can continue the trend of 3 stars for the momentum shifters.
And Leo is deciding to bring the Root Riders as well. We do have the Eagle Artillery straight up in the core of this base, and the town hall is off to the top as we have 1 jump and overgrowth as well. Does he invest the overgrowth on the Eagle, or does he use it on the town hall here? Let's see, as the King is placed near that Queen, the jump can get the King into the section with the ricochet cannon, as the Root Riders are indeed going straight from the bottom side and move in towards the Eagle Artillery.
Royal Champions end early on this one, does freeze the headhunters out of the playing castle, does have a jump so the King and Queen can access it. Queen will probably stay on the outside, but the King will be able to access right up the middle there. I think the overgrowth comes in here near the town hall monolith, maybe even on, yeah, there we go, onto those multi-arch towers. I was gonna say maybe one side or the other, but he's gonna go ahead and get both of the multi-arch towers. Royal Champion pops that hound, and the King's gonna go ahead and gut through the middle of this base. If everything can collapse around here and it all finish at the town hall, this looks really, really strong. Still 9 super barbs as well.
Yeah, those super barbarians helping to clear a bunch of the buildings up top, while the Queen even still has her ability. Gonna have to path through this defensive King here. Pairs in a headhunter to slow him down. Town hall comes back, and the poison is gonna get launched to that King and some Root Riders over there. That Queen ability was forced, and she's barely hanging on here with not much health. But there's a rage. No more. Oh, that was the final spell, which was the freeze, and the Queen trying to work through this town hall. It does not go down, but with all that damage, oh, he does grab the monolith with the super barb from the backside, which is clutch.
Yeah, those super barbarians coming in to get the mono was huge. I think he would have still been fine there as the King had quite a bit of ability. He still had some Root Riders, but it could have gotten a lot closer than it needed to. Leo does get the 3-star and keeping momentum shifters in the lead. Nice pacing on that one with their fastest attack yet. 1 minute 29 seconds, but again, time does not really matter at this point. It's all about the 3 stars.
And when it comes to my attacks, there's so many scenarios where it was such an ugly attack, and I'm just like, you know, 3-star is a 3-star. I'll take it. Doesn't matter how you got it, and you're helping your team get closer to that victory. And he did exactly that. It was not the prettiest from his perspective, but it was still a clean and good attack, getting it done in the end with those Root Riders and Valkyries, as we are seeing the dragons, 9 of them, and pairing in an Angry Jelly with the Warden here. All right, Lincoln, let's see how you're going to execute this one.
So the Angry Jelly will make the Warden attack defenses for a short amount of time. could be really nice. Lincoln has been perfect thus far throughout this qualifier. Let's see what he does here. Giant arrow goes in across the base, does get out one of the air sweepers, but misses the other one. Had a line where he could have maybe got both of them, but does miss. Here comes that Warden ability in early with that Angry Jelly. So the Angry Jelly allowed that Warden to help out these dragons with the defenses as they surge through the middle here. Queen's gonna go ahead and pop around the outside. It's got a long way to go for this town hall though.
Yeah, it does find the tornado trap here, which was probably placed for a blimp, which means they're seeking air mines. Yep, right past where the tornado trap is, because that is a great location. If you have a tornado trap, you want to put seeking air mines just after it on its way towards the town hall. That is how you can bait blimps if they end up finding the tornado trap, spinning it around, stalling it, and then sniping the blimp, since the Warden Eternal Tome may no longer be protecting it. While this Queen and King are continuing their push towards the town hall, he does have to invest quite a bit of freezes, but there's the King Spiky Ball skipping through.
Those freezes were expertly placed though. Perfect timing on those. He knows he's got the 3-star. It was just enough to keep that town hall down. A nice pacing on that one too. I believe that was a minute 10 seconds. You like to see that. If you're behind in a war, you like to see that, especially at the midway point here, where three attacks in for both squads. And if you're Pulse Gaming, that can kind of just pick your guys up. Momentum Shifters were a little bit close on that last attack. If they mess up, that's got to be feeling good for Pulse Gaming. You know you can do it. You know you can handle it. You don't really want to go out early, but man, this is a tough one for them. It's a tough task to overcome.
That will be tough indeed. So the pressure is on. Can Pulse get a defense? Or will Momentum Shifters continue to bring 3 stars left and right, as this is an elimination match? If you lose, you will have to try and compete next month. As Sean's coming in here with the Root Riders as well, continuing to try to bring some 3 stars. As the time is getting closer here, you know, at the end. So if it is a tie of percentage, then we go back to time as the tiebreaker. But Momentum Shifters, they're just looking to continue to get 3 stars however possible, as a jump spell is placed for the King, wall breaking in for the Queen towards the monolith, and the Root Riders down to the bottom side.
I like this setup quite a bit. The King should have no issues taking that town hall down. The skeleton spell expertly placed there so the monolith won't damage those heroes. Remember, that monolith deals extra damage based on hit points, so that King will take significant damage. But with it distracted with the skeleton spell, not an issue. But there is an ice golem over there slowing the King down. Root Riders are also going towards that town hall area. Kind of wants to push them back towards the middle of the base. The overgrowth goes right over there to take out, not necessarily take out, but stall up the Scattershot Expo. So he's got a nice little path here for the Root Riders to join up with the heroes, actually.
And Super Minions coming out of the Siege Barracks from the bottom side. Raw Champion has already been placed. Super Minions get some nice shots right off onto the Scattershot, taking that down as they're continuing their way around with that rage to the top side. Ricochet Cannon, the Raw Champ, and her ability still intact. A freeze and a handful of super barbs he can place from the far left. Exactly does that, so they can run their way to the bottom to help clear those remaining defenses and taking it down. As Sean does deliver another 3-star here for Momentum Shifters, as they are going to be 4 for 4 at the moment, putting up 12 stars. 1 triple away from a perfect war.
Very nice attack there from Sean. Well done, that Royal Champion. She was just absolutely manhandling the middle of the base right there. Got through, got the 3-star. 132 on the time is really nice. Man, Pulse Gaming, you just got to keep tripling. There's one more chance for a mistake for the Momentum Shifters. Chihuahua is going to come up next, going up against Ahmed's base. Got to get a 3-star here and just keep those fingers crossed. That's all you can really do in this situation, Carbon.
Yeah, you gotta take it easy. You gotta be careful, but he's going in for the triple. He's got to go all out. At this point, they need the 3 stars no matter what, as he's going to be starting with that King straight to the bottom and going to try to path him into the town hall, which is on the bottom side of the space, not in the middle. So let's see how this design, will it be tricky? Is there any surprises here? Let's keep an eye out.
Does have 1 overgrowth, so he can kind of freeze up that whole middle section if he chooses, or could even use it on the Eagle Artillery. I think the middle would make the most sense. That way all the Root Riders can kind of path around the outside and then kind of come back towards the end of the attack for it. But we'll have to see how this one develops. as he does have the Royal Champion in there early. Ice Golems out of the Clan Castle, a few Headhunters coming out of there as well with the Archers as well. And pretty much everything is in except for the Super Barbs.
Yeah, that Siege Barracks was placed to the top side, so both P.E.K.K.A.s are moving straight on through to the Archer Tower, continuing from the top. While the Root Riders are going all the way up towards the Eagle Artillery, did decide to overgrowth straight into the core so he can just continue to wrap around. We'll have to come back around for that monolith. Rages up the RC. She's going to go for the multi, and the Ice Golem that is kind of lagging behind is trying to catch up to do some damage in terms of slowing that Royal Champion down. They still got plenty of Root Riders. Valks are coming through as the Queen ability just goes off.
One thing he did really well there was he used the overgrowth after that rage spell went off. So that rage spell basically did nothing in the middle of that base. Very well executed, very well attacked here. And it's going to be a 3-star for Pulse Gaming. A nice one at that, at minute 30 or so. Now they have to hope Momentum Shifters fails. That's all you could do is hope Momentum Shifters fail. Man, it's unfortunate that all it takes is one mistake and you're just behind in the whole war. But a nice 3-star, the Pulse is still behind.
That's all it takes here as we got the final attack for Momentum Shifters to see if they're able to keep advancing in the lower bracket, keep their hopes alive. But one mistake, and the doors are now open for Pulse Gaming, as we're going to see, my guess, which we've been seeing on mostly here today and even last month, the Root Riders and Valks. Is such a strong attack strategy, even though it did we're not. It's Lalo. All right, maybe he's just more comfortable doing it, and they know that, okay, 3-star, and we're good. And he's going to feel most comfortable doing this attack here. Did parry in a giant arrow, which cleared a poison spell tower, which is useful. Is now the King's going to go straight into, maybe? No, he's getting pulled. Oh, he does not go into the Ricochet Cannon compartment.
Interesting. He did also use a couple zaps and an Earthquake to take out the monolith on the bottom. That last poison tower, I believe, is barely hanging on there, so it's barely got any hit points. But here comes the Lalo, but this is a tough task. Look at the remaining of this base. It's going to be a tough Lalo here.
That Queen was taken out with that defensive King down there, as the Blimp has made its way to the Town Hall. So we have the far right side to the top still up. The King didn't take that down. These balloons are, a lot of them are disappearing. He is setting in the Royal Champion now to move into the multi-arch tower. And guys, we got a problem. Is there a chance here for Pulse Gaming to make a comeback? As the balloons, still 16 left, but we have a multi in the core. Poison spells coming back. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be enough here.
I'm worried about it. What was the miss? The miss was 90% for Pulse Gaming. So if they can somehow hold this to a miss and 90% or give or take a little bit, the average time is actually pretty close, within 4 seconds. Does have some more balloons coming in. Here comes the Royal Champion's ability, but they're going to get spun around here. Carbon, this is going to be close, man.
Ooh, that skeleton spell was clutch, though, to help distract the Ricochet Cannon. The Royal Champion's making her way through. He might just be able to pull this one off as he's continuing to fly around with these balloons and that RC. Such a clutch move to move through with that hog puppet. And look at this. It was looking very, very scary, but he's able to pull away and gets it done. Wow, still delivered a 3-star. How nervous would you have been in that position when so many things started going wrong, but he still gets it done with a 3-star?
Yeah, I mean, I was sweating, and I'm not even doing the attack. You could see the stress on his face. You could see that he was a little bit nervous about that one. But ultimately, it does get through. The Royal Champion with the Hog Puppet and the Haste Valve were absolutely clutch to get that one done. And with that 3-star, Momentum Shifters will get the definite victory here, and they will move on and play tomorrow. Unfortunately for Pulse Gaming and you, it's going to be an attack that doesn't mean much. They will still get a nice prize pool, $5,000 for the team, but unfortunately, they will face elimination.
Unfortunate for Pulse. So let's take a look at their final attack, and it is Lalo. All right, with the 2 Lava Hounds and 18 minions. We got an Overgrowth paired as well. Okay, interesting. An Overgrowth and Lalo. I haven't really seen this. As you could be, yes, it can help with some funneling, but also could mess up some pathing here as you have to time that 20 plus second of the overgrowth as the blimp is going to fly straight to the town hall, decides the overgrowth the multi, and he finds a turnout trap and quite a pit of red air bombs.
The red air bombs, seeking air bombs, there, all the air traps were there in the middle. And look at this Lalo collapsing on the core, tons of minions on the outside. The time, look at the time on this one. This one was fast.
Wow. Oh my, he's got a raise spell left over as well, which he can utilize straight into the middle. And he was probably potentially looking to help bring a very quick triple as the overgrowth kind of came back a little bit late there as the balloons had to go backwards. But the Hound does pop, moving into now 1, but 3 multi-Inferno towers as the Queen helps finish off one of them. Balloons to go for that core, and it is indeed a 3-star. But that one fail unfortunately cost him in this match.
That overgrowth actually was kind of a hindrance there. The balloons were ready to take out the multi-target Infernos, and the overgrowth just would not come back up and allow them to target it. So this one could have actually been closer to a minute, if not less, because everything was in there. He had minions on the outside, but man, that's so unfortunate. Their time was really good. They actually won the war on time, 132 to 139 average time, but unfortunately the 2-star is the ultimate factor that cost them this war.
That's all it takes is 1 2-star in this meta, and you could be sent home. You could literally be getting perfect wars and still not be winning them. That is how close these teams are in skill level, and you just got to be able to handle the pressure. You could be the best player in the world, but if you can't deliver in the clutch moments, and unfortunately you won't be able to stay in the competition, as all these teams, a lot of them have tons of experience, and especially we have Nillis MG and Tribe Gaming both in the upper bracket. They are so experienced at this level, and even in person you can see how it's paid off so far. But they're looking to try to win that match in the upper bracket, because then that will guarantee yourself a silver ticket, which is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to give yourself the most chances possible to qualify for Worlds, and we still have a lot of action to come tomorrow. But unfortunately for Pulse Gaming, one of our highest hit rate teams, they will be going home. For Momentum Shifters, they can shift that momentum back onto their side, and they will be playing to keep their dreams alive tomorrow. Man, that was a really nice war. It's really crazy to me that all 3 of our kind of deciding attacks, aside from that 1-star that was kind of there trying to get the speed, but all 3 of the 2-stars were the first attacks for those losing teams. So unfortunate when you see that.
That's all it takes, that very first attack. Is it because they didn't have enough time to plan? But you can't say that, because they have so much experience, right? They've been doing this for so long that they know the stakes, they know the pressure, and they decided the lineup, they decided of how they're going to be attacking in that order, and unfortunately, it's just how it happened. The 2-star to start off the match really set that tone and just couldn't rebound, couldn't recover from it, because Momentum Shifters just kept delivering triple after triple.
Momentum Shifters, man, they look solid. I know they had that one mistake in a previous war, but the first war looked really good. This war looked really good. I would keep my eye on them tomorrow, as they can go pretty quick. Their average destruction, or average time here, excuse me, was a little bit slower compared to previous wars, but when you have that first mistake from your opponent, you can kind of downshift that speed a little bit and kind of just make sure you're getting those 3-stars. And I think that's what we saw in this war. Nothing too crazy, nothing too risky, but they do get that victory. Very nice wars. GG's to all of our teams that played here today, as we see these final standings, the final match results here from Momentum Shifters versus Pulse Gaming.
Yeah, unfortunate. It has come to the end of the road for Pulse Gaming and Vista Ridge. They both did earn $5,000, 5th and 6th place. But now we're going to be going on to the top 4 that are going to be for tomorrow to be giving away that golden ticket, as we take a look at the most valuable player, and that is Imran getting the 24% MVP of this match.
I like that Niu is in there with that fast Lalo. I mean, that one felt really nice, but Imran definitely earns it there. For Momentum Shifters, very nice, 24%. That might have been our closest MVP vote of the day. I think we had one that was a little bit closer, but What a war. What a way to end our day. Oh, man. Itsu, Woody, what do you guys think about that one? Itsu, how you feeling?
I mean, in the end, it worked out for my prediction.
Yeah.
Trusted in the German boys on the team from the shifters, and it's how it worked out. As we have said earlier, it feels like the first 1 to 2 attacks of each match are the most crucial ones because they tend to fail if there are any fails. Later in the match, it is maybe because of, okay, you have to do like a 60-second 3-star attempt or something. That might be another reason to fail later in the stages and later in the match itself. But otherwise, most of the crucial mistakes or missed 3-stars happen within the first 2 attacks, and this is what happened here. And Momentum Shifters just did not let go, and that in the end gave them the victory. How about you, Woody?
Yeah, it just feels so crushing when you see wars that are so tight and you know that one individual performance really kind of without anyone else making a mistake is the reason for the fall. And yeah, I gotta agree with you, Bash. It's one of the closest MVP votes that we saw today. I know Teamper and Kingsman were also right there neck and neck, but it's certainly very impressive when the fans out there recognize that even when the team that lost had a really great performance on there, you can give some respect to players like NYU that have an amazing setup and execute really well on a difficult attack. So let's take another look at the monthly prizing now. The teams that finished out today are going to be getting $5,000. So we will be saying goodbye to Pulse Gaming as well now, eliminated in the lower bracket. But the teams that are still in it have a chance to win it. $6,500 for 4th place, $8,500 if you finish off at the bottom of the lower bracket. But our top 2 teams are going to get $30,000 combined and a ticket to share. The golden ticket going to the winning team of the grand finals, while a last chance qualifier silver ticket will still go to the 2nd place team there, Bash.
Yeah, it's a lot of action yet to come, and we got 2 of our top teams with Milliceme and Tribe going up against it tomorrow in the upper bracket, but don't count out these lower bracket teams. I mean, just based on what we saw in those last 2 wars, they both went perfect. So they can hang. I think we got to improve that speed a little bit, but the prize money only ramps up here and the stakes only rise up as we got golden tickets and silver tickets on the line.
So you're talking about golden tickets, you say, Mr. Bash. So tomorrow we'll be giving one of these away. So you do not want to miss that to see who's going to be joining the Clash of Clans World Championship Finals at the end of this year. Plus, the team that's going to get the silver ticket to compete in the last chance qualifiers to have that one final chance to get a golden ticket. But it's been an incredible day here. Cannot wait for the top 4 teams tomorrow. So it's been a pleasure. So let's get some final thoughts before we sign off for today. So let's start with you, Itsu.
I mean, I'm just looking forward as well to the defensive side tomorrow. I know overall it's a really offensive, heavy meta, but I feel like especially Tribe today surprised me with their prediction ability of like predicting the right angle and setting those sand traps against different type of blimps to make some attacks close or even defend them. And I feel like that for me is going to be a highlight for tomorrow to see if they're able to predict Milliceme and moving forward, or how the defensive side is going to look like over the rest of the tournament. That's for me for sure a highlight.
Well, we also saw today that only perfect wars were good enough to win. There was not a single war that was won with a 14-star performance. And so I think consistency and execution have still got to stay foremost in these players' minds. Some creativity is great every now and then. Coming up with a wild and crazy attack can certainly delight the viewers. But ultimately, it's about putting those 3 stars on the board every single time you hit if you want to get the wins. I know we're wrapping up, so I do want to say thanks to everyone who tuned in today, as well as the players who have been putting in so many hours across the weeks, months, and years that they've competing in Clash of Clans Esports. Also, big thanks as well to Supercell for hosting the event, and to the co-casters here who are joining in once again to give some great analysis on these games. I'll toss it off to you next, Bash. Let us know what your final thoughts are for the day.
I think speed is the name of the game. 15 was what you had to do to win it, but we also saw a couple perfect wars in there. So you got to make sure you're keeping up that pacing. We'll definitely see that tomorrow. Oh, I'm just looking forward to it, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, speaking of tomorrow, make sure you guys come back to tomorrow so you don't miss any of the action and see which one of these 4 remaining teams will get that golden ticket.
Yeah, and the stream and the matches will start same time as they start today at 2 p.m. UTC. So make sure you guys got your alarms set for that so you don't miss the very first match tomorrow. And we'll be giving away those 2 tickets, 1 silver ticket and 1 golden ticket to join the Clash of Clans World Championship Finals. So that is going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, tomorrow, 2 p.m. at UTC. Till then, Clash on.